And welcome back to the RES Showdown. It's time for the grand finals to see who is our ultimate victors of the European division, who will walk out on top of this whole damn bracket. My name's Eternal J. I'm joined by Dweg, as per usual, for what will be our grand final day and just one final match to play.
Well, it's a very unique grand final in the sense that if you look at VP Prodigy and you look at any of their results in the last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, you'd say they've got absolutely no chance against a top-end Tier 2 team like the Danes. But if you just look at what they've achieved in the last few days, there's got to be some faith. There's got to be some copium somewhere.
I mean, somewhere most certainly. Not sure we're going to have much of it here on the desk, but you are right. VP Prodigy have made an absolute run through the bracket thus far. Day one, they took down the likes of Team Liquid in a shock result that nobody really saw coming, and then they continued the shockers by taking down the ex-Na'Vi Junior roster by defeating their new organisation of Foot as well during the semi-final action. On the other side of the board, Ecstatic having a much more, I guess you could say, difficult run in terms of the maps being played out, who won both their series against Zero Tenacity and Fnatic, and certainly with Fnatic being one of the other front runners, Ecstatic have earned their place in the grand finals as well in Blast Open London. It should be noted that whilst the grand final would usually be reserved for the qualifying match to the wider event, because Virtus Pro already have their main team there, Ecstatic are already through, but this matchup is still important for their VRS points. It's important for VP Prodigy's VRS points as well.
Well, for VP Prodigy, this is their 5th VRS game. So they're unranked on VRS, but you need to play 5 ranked matches. So no matter what the result is here, whether it's a loss or a win, they will get on the VRS system. And I know that I've said countless times about the flawed system. Don't you think it's insane, Jay, that you've been able to beat Liquid, beat Foot, and it's still like, yeah, you're still unranked. Like, you might as well have just taken down Tier 1 teams, taken another top-end Tier 2 squad. But it tells you how difficult it is to get on this whole ranking system.
Oh, I'd say that's probably a bit more of a positive in general, right? Because you have to earn your way onto the rankings. And VP Prodigy certainly have done quite a lot to earn it. If they can beat Ecstatic here today, that would be even more of the cherry on top at this point. Because, look, Ecstatic were one of my front runners coming into this competition. I looked at them as being a serious contender. They've proven that right here and now. They've just been insane. They've rocketed up the Tier 2 space. They are a top-end Tier 2 team, in my opinion, and I think that they're going to do well to prove that as well during Blast Open. That.
The last 3 months, Ecstatic have won 19 out of 23 best-of-3s on HLTV. The only teams that they've lost to is Na'Vi Junior, Nemega, 9, and Passion UA. We're not seeing them get upset by lower-level squads. We're seeing them be very consistent. We're seeing a lot of deep tournament runs, a lot of grand finals from them. They have been a very successful team in 2025, and the idea is another grand final and another qualification to a Tier 1 tournament. They'll be very satisfied with what they've achieved here.
Indeed. Again, they've got the history on their side, but the recency favours the VP Prodigy side to a certain extent, of course. You know, again, their main thing has been over the course of this weekend, because you take a look at their previous results, their previous matches and the previous competitions that they played, and pretty much all of them up until this point have been completely unranked. As you mentioned, 5th ranked matchup on the board here for VP Prodigy, so they will be ranked by Monday. The problem is, though, is the fact that that competition they're taking on means that the results that they've had here in RES make absolutely no sense whatsoever.
No, they don't. I mean, even in the open qualifiers, that grand final matchup, funny enough, they even took on Foot, that went down to 25-21. How different that entire matchup could have been if they got eliminated there or they got eliminated a lot early on. It's actually a bit of a blessing that the open qualifiers were on HLTV, because if that game in the grand final and the semis weren't on HLTV, mate, they wouldn't have been able to get on VRS today. So they've had to use the open qualifier and the main event just to make up those 5 matches on VRS.
Like I said, they've had to earn their way to this position, but can they maintain a decent spot is the next big question at the forefront of VP Prodigy's mind. The victory over Ecstatic certainly would show that potential off a little bit more so, but it'll be a very long road for the Academy project to really get going in terms of Tier 2 Counter-Strike here. But again, all about them in terms of their own proceedings and how much they can take away from the Ecstatic side. At this point, I think they're playing with pressure off their shoulders. They've got no qualifications to maintain happening here. They just want to get those points. And so I feel like this could be a very interesting best of 3 as a result.
Indeed. I mean, I look at VP Prodigy. I know that their Instaban is Inferno. They've been picking a lot of Dust 2, and their Dust 2 in the comp has been excellent. I mean, 13-7 against Liquid, 13-6 against Foot. I think if you are Ecstatic, you just ban Dust 2 here, because the other option is banning Mirage that you don't like playing, but I think their Mirage is better than the opposition. So I think it could be one of these very few elements and a very unique opportunity in which the Danes just try and get rid of that Dust 2 straight away.
Oh, it will be Inferno banned out first from VP Prodigy, and yes, Ecstatic will get rid of Dust 2 first up. Nuke picked in by the VP Prodigy lads. Ancient out from Ecstatic. Nice to see that they haven't picked in Train again, because they've been losing it in all their map picks, although it will come out as the final map in the series if we have to go there, Dweg. So how do we feel about this veto?
Look, Nuke got picked in a best-of-3 most recently against the Kosovo team in Mana, and that's the boys of who plays out there, Gizmilla, Amar, Serba, Saley, a very low-level squad. That got pushed all the way to overtime. So we know they only picked Dust 2, and one time they've picked Nuke. For Ecstatic, they go into Ancient. We've never seen them pick Ancient in the last 3 months. They normally always pick Train or they pick Nuke. The idea that you're picking into Nuke against a team like Ecstatic, it's going to be very difficult to win a map. I mean, even though it's been an incredible run for you so far, you're going to have to surpass expectations in every single way in this best-of-3.
Yeah, look, they won a trophy with this map of Nuke just to start things off for Ecstatic's part of things. Like, they're a very, very good Nuke team, even though it might not necessarily be the most highest one map in the pool compared to the likes of an Inferno. You know, it's still going to be a very significant opportunity for them to try and sneak into 2-0, which I think is very, very possible. I'm hesitant to say likely because of what VP Prodigy have done recently, but let's not lie here. The caliber of the two teams is so staunch and so different. Hasn't stopped them from pulling off upsets, but the logical thing would be a 2-0 prediction for Ecstatic, right?
Yeah, it would be. And you'd probably say that in all of the series. I didn't expect VP Prodigy to take a map off of Liquid. I certainly didn't expect them to take a map off of Foot. Now, what surprised me the most in that Foot series was, first off, how comfortable their map pick of Dust 2 was, but also Ancient. We know the ex-Na'Vi Junior lads, they're one of the best Ancient teams in all of Tier 2, and that just wasn't even close. I mean, they didn't even give them a look in. So it does make you ponder the idea with what they've achieved over the last few days. Maybe it is just a one good run in a single tournament, but I almost want to give them the benefit of the doubt of taking a map, because I think they've earned it. I think they've deserved so much with these last 2 days of action.
And on that respect, I will agree. I feel like there's a very good opportunity for VP Prodigy to make that happen. I mean, look, let's think about this, right? You think about the caliber of teams that we have involved in the competition. You could sort of see like maybe one Tier 1 example, a true Tier 1 being that of Team Liquid. Even though they've lost a lot of results, they've been competing in that Tier 1 environment and they were toppled. So surely using Chain Logic Ecstatic, a top-end Tier 2 team, would be a very doable prospect for a team like VP.
I'd probably rank Foot and Ecstatic on a similar marker. I know that Foot isn't the exact same 5 with Makazi going up to the main team, but they're still very successful in Tier 2. They still have a very good track record. I think that they're probably in the conversation to being a top-end team like Ecstatic. So for that reason, yeah, I mean, if you use game by game, the factor is, though, VP Prodigy just haven't shown it in any other tournament. Every other result you look at on Liquipedia, when you follow ESEA, when you're following the FACED, the results are horrendous. So it almost makes you wonder how. Like, how has this legitimately happened? Because these have been massive upsets over the last couple of days.
So when we're talking about potential of them building into a greater VRS position, or maybe we could just be looking at a flash in the pan weekend off performance from the VP Prodigy side. It's going to take some time for them to prove us wrong, but it will start here in this matchup. Dweg, I'm back in Ecstatic, but I am going to go 2-0 towards their favour.
Yeah, I'm going to join you on that one. City side start of Nuke. This is Ecstatic's home ground. This should be a good test from VP Prodigy in the first few rounds.
USP's brought out on the Ecstatic side as our grand finals are raring to get started. It's time to close out this weekend here in the RES Showdown. Turo able to draw out first blood, but TMB is good to strike back, and Christo is waiting for more contest here. Ecstatic are raring to receive them at the red box.
They're going to go quickly over main. They give themselves a bit of a lurk smoke to try and wrap around and get in towards Secret. Watch out for just how much contact Christo gets if there is a push out towards the garage entrance.
TMB and Christo kind of blocked off from vision. Those two players had to make their way downstairs, although Ciro's hot on their heels. USP standing to one of the key performers for Ecstatic in the last couple of days. Good shot for Christo, though. Lines up forever and deals with Bistal the same. For a triple, perhaps. He's got TMB up in the heaven for support. 4v2 right now for Ecstatic.
Very difficult, because while you've got bomb control, you don't have a huge amount of space. You're even being seen from the heaven rotation of TMB. Getting a plant here is going to be a miracle. They need to get clean entries towards the A bomb site, just dive their way in.
And the veto the right position at the right time. TMB getting out of heaven as VP Prodigy tries to take it over. Play the range game with those USPs and land more headshots. They're lightning clinical today. Perfect stuff on Ecstatic thus far in the pistol. Should line up towards their favor. A 1v4 for Aqua to maintain. It's not going to happen.
And if there's going to be any positivity to go the way of VP Prodigy in this best of 3, I think it has to be Bist. With the idea that he is currently the second highest rated player of the event, he has been phenomenal. And especially on this map of Nuke, he dropped 30 on it against Liquid. Now, Aqua is going to attempt to try and get the bomb down, but with the double doors and the single door being opened up, it's just never going to happen. Hope for a little bit of a contact to get a single kill, but not to be. Syrah gets the first, and Aqua falls. So VP Prodigy don't get anything out of that one. But yeah, so 5 maps played, positive 33 KD difference, and a 1.35 rating. I'm watching out for him in particular.
It's good to see that VP Prodigy, even though they haven't been ranked, so they're not ranked at the moment, they will be ranked on Monday. Show us a few more of those bright stars and those potential upcoming talents, which we are looking for in Academy squads like VP Prodigy. The first significant outing for a guy like Bist. Let's see whether he can make his mark against Ecstatic as well. So far, Fragless and the pistol. It was only Turo who drawed out that first kill against Ecstatic, but CT's got their way. They have their rifles. It's against the straight eco from the T-side contact.
A pretty impressive open qualifier run as well from this Academy squad. I mean, the Zeus even dropping down out towards main, trying to make it somewhat expensive. The wraparound on the outside, though, is going to wrap up pretty quickly. Christo doesn't actually quite see the player, and they get a bomb down to B. Considering the limited investment, this has been an excellent round. They will be very satisfied with the bomb plant and a couple of casualties. But yeah, to go back to the open qualifier run, Jay, first round, round of 32, they take on Kono ECF. Now, we're very familiar with them in Tier 2, right? That's Captain Kirkar, Amstar, Bermalov is there at the moment. Zero Fix is out on that team. Next round, TNL. Now, what should be added as an asterisk is TNL went into that game 4v5. Knife was not able to join in the server, so they get a little bit of a layup. They then go up against the Algo team, which is Quirts, Nuke, Oscar, Grilla, beat them 13-10, and then that massive overtime 25-21 against Foot. It's not as if they had an easy run. They had some challenging teams in Tier 2 on their way up here.
Caveats aside, it's still a pretty respectable run. A run carry forward here right now into RES. The grand finals have started to the favour of the opposition. Ecstatic are the ones in control in the first 2 rounds. Rifles been brought in by VP Prodigy. Still ready, turns away at the wrong timing. Allows them to walk forward, can get a secondary opportunity to fight and turn up with TMB to get Turo as well. Bist gets both those players back though. Arnlay's got a strike and return. A 5 points of health he'll go, but he does find a 3-on-2.
Considering the timing that was exploited out there from Hart, the T's have done quite well to get themselves in and get a couple of picks back. Anlay's down low, the lurk on the outside needs to try and scale some space, but it's all about timing on whether Anlay's back is turned, whether it's a bit of a freebie here for Forever. AK gets the first, but they don't know about the outside player with the bomb. This is where they're going to start grouping together towards main.
Not just checking for the open angles, the entryways that the T's can maintain, and looks towards outside, catching Forever. Now, Treeborg alone. 1-on-2, bombs on his back. Will try and make his way out towards ramp, and B site can be his easiest plant. Another cash injection for VP Prodigy. Round will also be on the table depending on how the fights go out, how quickly Ecstatic make their way towards the retaking positions. Of course, they'll hear those footsteps and they'll make some of their own. Both players in from vents, and Treeborg's going to hear about that. Up onto the catwalk, he looks to go. Here's them both coming in, closing that door. Wait, and bait and hold a further contact. And walk their way in. Christo drops down, will be heard. Utility for his teammate, kill found. 1v1 now, incendiary health flashbang forward, decent dink, but the AK goes one better. And indeed, it is a clutch for Treeborg and an opening round for VP Prodigy.
And you can give a lot of credit to the VP organization for having some very successful players and scouting when it comes to their academy system. I mean, you and IJ, we casted the old roster with Dawushka and Kushmi and Shady when they upset sort of the Guild Eagles, the B&E lads at the time. And then before that, they had Sualio in the team. Mate, he's on Omega now. You think back to their CSGO lineup, they had, what, Resol? I mean, we know how sick of a talent Resol's been. Latic, he also went over towards Aurora. You've had a lot of guys that have sort of come and gone. Even Nori, at one point, was a part of VP Prodigy.
A lot of great output from the CIS scene coming up from this team. So you might be looking at the next generation. Finding success in the here and now might not be the key goal and opportunities that they'll have, but they will try and look for it regardless. 5-7 in from Christo with Series M4. Not quite a 3K sequence those two players were looking for, but half-tag BiS to 15, got a 4-on-3 man advantage for Ecstatic.
It's all about timing because TMB is the door player and he's sort of in and ahhing about whether he should rotate down towards lower or stay up in the door position. And VP Prodigy, unfortunately, feel in the mid-round that they're just losing too many casualties at the moment. I mean, that last one had to come down to a clutch situation. TMB's even heard the drop-off from the T-roof.
Almost get the kill on Turo, but unable to truly land the kill shots. Unlay will start sneaking forward. A couple of AKs they can recover as well towards Secret if they wanted to do so. For now, they're going to focus on the kill counts. Triborg going to get one pick out of it. Secondary certainly shouldn't be given up. Unlay's considering the peak. Oh no! They're going for all the picks, and Ecstatic have given away the 1v1 fights. Nuts all alone now. He's up for the clutch.
Well, Ecstatic have just completely trolled there. That's a 5v2 in which TMB knows that they're going heavy outside. All you need to do is set a crossfire from Icebox and from Secret, and instead you've got individual fights. Sirius swinging for the back of T-Red, Anlay is swinging from main. His further teammate does the exact same thing. That's childish right there from Ecstatic, and they should get punished for it.
100%. Kill found for Nut. Where's the last man? He has no idea. I think he's outside of the bomb site. Not even considering the back rafters. Now he does. The Triborg holds another multi-frag, another clutch to his name. 3 kills and all. And VP Prodigy, well, they shouldn't have won that round. They most certainly did. Early tacticals on their side as well.
I have a chat with the head coach, a problem. A guy that you and I, Jay, casted quite a lot in the middle stage of his career. Remember, he very early on played on Warthogs, went out towards Hellraisers, played on that Bank of Pepsi lineup, and then Indy Ray and forward towards the end of his career before retiring as a player and now going into his first coaching job. I don't think he had the most successful playing career. I'd say it was quite average in the Tier 2 landscape, but he was able to take a mid-looking Hellraisers team to 32nd in the world during 2020. And that was with Lime and JR. So perhaps he knows what it's like to work with undervalued players, guys that get overlooked in the scene, try and work with some new faces and turn them into successful prospects for the future.
Maybe it's part of the reason why they have so much success on VP Prodigy's part. Be a man to think about once we do sing their praises if they do end up making some good runs. Slow to the uptake into round number 5. You've got some basic pistol sets at Ecstatic. Can't afford to force the buys here. TMB will extend with a USP. This time more justifiable with the stack towards the outside of the yard. And those 3 players that can come up from Secret and try and catch individuals off guard on VP Prodigy, but you're looking for some cheeky frags. You're not looking for anything substantial here.
Syrup might not get cleared, but a USP without a crossfire in this position is very difficult with the device box. VP Prodigy just scaling, and now Sierra's been seen, so that USP is going to generate nothing.
Down to Aqua's hands. Go searching for TMB next round the corner. Doesn't quite catch him, but again, USP, similar scenario what Sierra had. Catch the player with util off guard, but not hit the kill shots against BiS. Players will try and fight from there again, hidden angles and awkward stances that ultimately go awry for Ecstatic. 3 on the board of VP Prodigy, 2 on the board of Ecstatic. Rebuys were coming in for the Danes now.
We saw Forever going 24-9 on Ancient yesterday against Foot, and then BiS going 20-6. And the 2 guys that made that second map feel quite comfortable to edge themselves out in the 2-0 victory. At the moment, it was that one clutch in the 1v2 that's now set up a few more in a row. Now, there's no denying that Ecstatic feel like the much stronger team. They've been getting opening picks, their mid-round looks a lot more concise, but they have thrown a couple of chances away, and that's given a lead over to the Academy squad.
TMB strikes first. Turo down. Sierra just about gets together against Forever with Unlay support. Down to 2 men are VP Prodigy. Ecstatic holding up the bomb site well.
And for VP Prodigy, your money situation isn't ideal, but you need to keep searching. You need to start generating at least a couple of picks to just work something in round 6. Otherwise, you give AKs for free, you give a lot of momentum and a lot of control forward to the Danes. You're walking out ramp, and ramp is known to be open, so the only thing that the CTs can do about it is just stay on the bomb, watch heaven from the A-site rafters, and that's what we've got Nut Knight in that position.
Doesn't seem like VP Prodigy are going to get another chance at a bomb plant here. They've done well to get those out, even when they've got the limited situations or weakened buys or whatever, but with it being in Ecstatic's control, it means that even they'll all go down without a single casualty. All 5 alive Ecstatic. Evening on the board real quick, and want to hold more confidence like that because, again, on paper, you should be slapping a team like VP Prodigy around.
Well, we look at VP Prodigy, they've been hard stuck in main. At Season 52, they got top 16. Now, main, you need top 8 to be able to get promoted into Advanced. And they lost out to Masonic in the lower bracket. That was sort of Frostlev and Botman, very weak-looking Danish squad. The other team that they lost to in the upper bracket, Jay, Reason Gaming, with the 3 Brits of CJA, Finchy, and Flicky. You just think, well, what's going on? Like, how are we getting losses to these squads in the playoffs of main, and yet we can take down Liquid and take down Foot?
Again, probably maybe an outlier this weekend. Certainly wasn't expected of them. Make their way forward into the upper bomb site. TMB, Crystal, Unlay there on defensive. Turo able to get 1 player down, but now has to leave it on Bist and Aqua, and Bist certainly has been doing his best. And these scenarios never easy, even for the greatest players. Bomb has got access to bomb site. Assuming Unlay doesn't make his way up towards heaven, then he could go down, but Aqua sticks around to try and get a kill out of Mini, and that cost him his life. Bist now in a 1-on-4 without even the bomb.
Well, if I'm going to be realistic with what I've been witnessing in these gun rounds, the only way that VP Prodigy are going to win this map of Nuke is if Ecstatic lose that. In the sense that they have these 3v1s and 4v2s, and there's overpeaks, there's unnecessary duels, there's schoolboy errors. If they play a concise game where they are minimalizing those risks, there's just zero chance. VP Prodigy are getting farmed in the frag counts at the moment, and they're getting absolutely no control. The map space is really struggling because when they do take the outside, they're losing just too many casualties in the process. I think saving onto the AK and armor is going to be an attempt, but even that, you may be worried about one of the A-side players dropping into the vents, wrapping you in secret. You're worried about the garage player coming against you. And the CT should try and hunt when this timer expires.
1 player down on the vents, they might get the kill before that even gets a chance to happen, and actually Bist gets the trade onto TMB. They will start moving towards secret, but no one's over at ramp, so they're not really in a position to get there to him in time. They just hold on to their weapons, but I do love the fact that they didn't start moving until 1 player took contact. I mean, you saw back in that last round, I mean, you're talking earlier about how it's only going to be won by VP Prodigy if Ecstatic start to make those other peaks. We saw 1 good round where that did happen, and VP Prodigy turned that into a 3-round streak, but in that last round, you saw how the player on the outside of Garage spotted the man at Red Box, hid away, player at Heaven, prodded for info, hid away. That's the kind of intelligent game that Ecstatic are not going to allow VP Prodigy to exploit. Recognizing that there might still be some firepower danger on this squad, even if they are heavily outranked in this context. Diagonal smokes towards outside, but shouldn't really do much with it for VP Prodigy. That's all the utility gone. Only the AK, no buy around it.
Sierra just tucking and jiggling back in towards the AK. It's all about timing. They're going to try and rush out towards Hut here.
Spray's good for 1 kill and damage on the 2 more individuals, but eventually the numbers game will overwhelm the CT. You've got players out towards Mini. H is coming in close, actually will not land. TMB could get run down, and indeed he does, but the AK and AWP still have their combinations. Decent damage being done for an eco, but nothing that will limit the buy for the next round. VP Prodigy back on their feet, back in with guns.
And I mentioned the top 16 in Season 52 of Main. The very next season, they had another top 16 after a pretty good 12-2 regular season. And they went down to Algo in the lower bracket, Jay. And that's sort of Nuke, Bayer 9, Quirt, Smek, and Divi. That was a very competitive best of 3. Went into overtime in the 3rd map decider. They then had an advanced qualifier for this season of ESEA. And they made it all the way to the grand final, but lost out to the new Inner Circle roster. The Polish one with Krasnal, and Kyla, Minio, and Kai and Diha. And even though it was a 2nd place, it's only 1 spot to get into Advanced.
Look at this from TMB. Up on the roof, players to receive. No idea of the danger that he's reeling in, walking into that crossfire. Ecstatic will concede that opener. Could have been nice if it was just the one player. Second man of Silo could provide that support. Forever now starts to act VP Prodigy on the outside. Into garage they'll go. Ecstatic limited by their map control.
I tell you, he's unlucky there. That's a great play. That's realizing the lack of offensive out there to lobby and to try and catch a good exploitation on the outside. And that is one of those rare cases where you feel you've got the round-winning play and instead you're the one that gives the opening casualty away. VP Prodigy have got heavy outside. The Heaven Rotate has got to be worried about the wraparound on the scaling, but then also from the ladder behind him.
Point blank shot from Aqua deals with Nut now. Player up at hut is all that they have really to resist themselves. Still waiting for that presence towards hell from Unlay. Now they have to move because Sira has gone down. Does get checked on the ladder. Forever forcing him off. And VP Prodigy respond with some extra confidence of their own. 5 alive for this round. Maybe, depending on Christo. He's just scoped into to be heard. Can't take that shot on Forever, and Forever, it's how long VP Prodigy will hold on to this round with. 4 to their board. Ecstatic, one piece goes out, and everything seems to crumble around it.
Well, we saw VP Prodigy when they picked this map against the Kosovo team a few days ago. They only managed 5 rounds on their T side. Now, they had a bit more of a successful second half, and it got dragged out to overtime and a win in the end. So I'm looking at where they are right now, and I'm thinking if they can get to 5, maybe 6, they'll probably feel that they can threaten a bit of danger in this series, that they can at least do something against Ecstatic.
Especially because that damage will compound, and even though it might not have limited the buy in the previous round, it will do for this one.
Just quickly, look how late that second smoke is going to be on the diag. So because of that, it's what, a good 3-4 seconds? That means that first smoke is going to clear first. So they need to scale outside quicker because of the late that they didn't pick up the smoke straight away.
And they're taking their time with this. So I don't know if actually I'm going to beat them to the timing. Unlay's holding close with that smoke. Christo down at Secret, be watching. Molotov sent its direction, so they are telegraphing that they have intentions on this part of the map, or Forever blinded by that smoke does do some damage to Unlay. A slightly deeper smoke will cover off the blue box, and now Siri's gonna have to use that smoke to protect himself because it was burning him out. Christo missing an AWP kill. Aqua quick swing into Secret, kill found. B-side targetized. Unlay sees one, looks for more. Forever will last no more. 4v4. Can he get anything more out of this? Will he wait for backup? Looks like it'll be the latter option.
Sarah can come in now. They can crossfire. Cross is not quite coming in for impact. They get it into a 2v2. And where's your last 2 players? They're topside and outside lurk. There is no one down on lower now for the T's.
Triborg and Toro moving in different sides of the bomb site. Toro just seen M4 to engage. That Molotov was pulled out for the man. Now he's going to go with a much more directed fight. Was Decon door closed? Is that a way back in for Triborg? Can't quite tell from here. Either way, they'll fight Turo. And Triborg seen by Unlay. Ecstatic recover the 6th.
Just about. That was a bit of a chaotic round there from Ecstatic, but I like the way they've played it. You've got Anlay out on the glass. You've got 2 players on the vent rotation going out towards decontamination. You've got to make it awkward for the youngsters. You've got to make this academy squad feel as if they can't react, that everything's going on too quickly. And for Anlay and Nut, they just about establish a crossfire. Not an easy round, of course, but it is a 6th. And for VP Prodigy, the money state will feature another good buy, but depending on how the bomb plant bonus goes, it could look weak for round 12.
Good shot for Christo. Aqua's first man to fall. Advantage not mitigated. Smokes come down at the red box. We'll clear up with the HEs. TMB sees nothing. Christo gets another shot. A crack angle there. Third man incoming. Jump face does bait out the AWP, but no one in position to punish it for VP. They want to go down towards Secret and start the B campaign, but limited by a margin of 2. TMB's SMG. We'll see Forever, but again losing a fight.
Individually, they're very sharp. They've been punishing some slight little mistakes when it comes to repositions. But this is a difficult post plant. You can set the util, you can try and slow down the ramp rotation, but this vent rotate, I was going to say Sierra might get a good timing against Forever, but no, gets punished in the process.
Well, as you said, punished on repositions time and again. It's quite a consistent factor that VP Prodigy have been working with here. 3v3, they hear the rotation of one man, but Not the other two, so they'll keep those two players back in the corridors to watch out for secret access, vent control. Second man does join the B-side more directly from Obs. Incendiary comes down, time ticking on Ecstatic. They're going to move right now. Fist spray, awkward goes down to Unlay. Turo going to wait back at Dark though. Going to get hard cleared. Fights on two players in the lineup. And the third man caught by Forever will give VP Prodigy number 5.
Look, Static are going to be frustrated at themselves with the amount of impact that Christo is providing with that orb. The round should kind of be over from that point. You're getting a kill, what, 12 seconds in? And then you're getting your second one in the first 30 seconds. That's a 5v3. TMB gives up an isolated fight. As Sierra doesn't rotate down from Secret, he rotates into the vent where you could potentially be going into the unknown, the question mark on whether it's being held. And Ecstatic forgot themselves an awful buy in round 12.
Looks like VP had a very good reason to pick into this map. T-side has been successful thus far. And we'll look to close out on an even stance. No, they might not get the advantage, but it's a very good place to be in. There's an Ecstatic side that have played this map frequently, played it well, and have sometimes dominated their way for opposition at times. Thinking about that Zero Tenacity series from a couple of nights ago. The VP have given them a run for their money. How much further will the dollar take them? No commitments just yet, but it seems to be some sort of B campaign. They've got players downstairs and now ramp room being taken.
A lot of space and heavy on the outside. Now, Ecstatic are gambling quite heavily towards lower at the moment. You've got 2 players defending B, 3 players on this sort of main split.
Oh, Tribal gets the kill on Syrah. UMP waiting, gonna take him. Swing back, close range against Forever though. Unable to find his man. Falls away, doesn't want to get too greedy. TMB has other machinations though. Close quarters, shot rings out from the AWP, misses. Dig down to 4 HP though. Turo's going to make his way forward. He also takes damage, but Bist eventually connects him, and Forever comes up good. Christo desperate to hang on to kills outside of the open vent corner. Found by Aqua. Not hearing these footsteps. Sees that bomb carrier. Spotted by the player at Heaven and dealt with by Aqua as the very last casualty. Indeed, it's all squared up at the turn of the half. Ecstatic did no such slapping about of the Academy side. Instead, they moved to their T half, all evened out by VP Prodigy's efforts. Now, can they maintain those efforts, or will Ecstatic start to find some new leases on life? They might have to do so here. Although it is their opponent's map pick. Let's see what VP Prodigy have up their sleeves.
And surely the Academy team is looking at this saying, lads, let's put in a good shift on our map, because we know Ecstatic have not won a map pick this entire best of 3, the entire competition. So let's try and make the favourites uncomfortable. Let's make them sweat it. And this is the grand final you're hoping for. One that VP Prodigy are giving Ecstatic a run for their money.
Taps to the USPs initially looking for opening fights. It's going to be Bist and Forever that get the kills on the upper bomb site inside as well. Don't know where Syrah is just yet. Forever's going to catch him through that smoke though. 2 players left, 1 player left as Triborg domes in Christo and Nutnuts overwhelmed in an instant. A perfect round in the pistol for VP Prodigy.
Now, we have seen both teams be fairly unsuccessful with pistol rounds across the tournament. Coming into this grand final, Ecstatic have only won 5 out of 12 pistols, and VP Prodigy have only won 5 out of 10. So I do kind of wonder, as this series rolls on, as we go into Ancient and Train, whether there is kind of like a 50-50 split, or whether one team starts getting an edge over another.
This is VP Prodigy's chance to break away from Ecstatic. Momentum moving in their direction. did well with the previous round streak they had, that 3-2 scoreline that they got. Ecstatic had the initial stances. TMB is found first. Another opening frag against him by Aqua. Bist can't hold on to Cristo all the way. 19 HP though, he's pretty low, so damage has still been done. Maybe Prodigy adjusting back towards the big bomb side. Bist finally flashed off, finally caught by Sira. Unlace PT50 can strike as well forever. Not ready for the set man. Sira's counter flank, just 7 bullets in a magazine, but he gets his kill regardless. Ecstatic trying to work their way into a force by steal. But 3-on-2 is 2 very low HP players.
I love the way that they have left Sira in heaven, because it's a really dominant position to have in a post plant. The issue that I have, Jay, is the HP bars. Anlay needs to stay alive for as long as possible, and Sira needs to bait his teammates. He needs to not peek from heaven.
It would be so great if he could pass that M4 down to him, but just the positions don't allow for it. M4 leans. Turo will clear out the back lines. You've got Aqua coming in quickly. Purring footsteps. Caught off. Turo, you get that one pick back on the defuse. They look to go. 5 seconds to the stick. Deagle, PT50 moving up. M4 tried to fight. And the low bullets. Unleashed run out of ammo. Surely. I can't believe that. They were right there. But Ecstatic cannot fend off VP Prodigy.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that looked to be a complete save. There was nothing going into that round. They're searching, they're wrapping heaven, they've run out of time. Sira goes, yep, they're just saving. I'm just going to get out of here at heaven. And hang on a second, they're starting to go for this. Oh, boy, you do not see many retakes like that at all. That is a 1 in a million chance. Especially with the bomb being planted open for heaven, the protection of the body block, oh, everything about it is excellent. Anlay running out of bullets. And that is a complete rarity. You will not see a round like that again.
Mate, he has just slammed his desk so hard, he might have punched a hole through it.
Well, let's think about what happened in the series yesterday, right? That one that Ecstatic had against Fnatic, the nut triple at the back at Donut, a frustrating one where you should never be losing that much. Fear had a freebie with the MAC-10 and couldn't kill him. After that, they just got destroyed. They got absolutely pummeled. And it could happen on the same sort of way here. Tilt factor coming in, momentum going the way of VP Prodigy. This could be a really clean second half from the Academy squad.
Ecstatic have time to stop that. They're putting Hero AK onto Sira's hands in the hopes that he can generate something greater here. Outside control access, tap burst. Bist has lined him and his teammate up, getting both those casualties for only like 34 points of HP damage. Cristo can grab the AK, see what he can do with it, but it seems to be a wasted investment. Thankfully, it's not a heavy investment. Ecstatic will have to buy in the next round. VP Prodigy are well and truly in the driver's seat at the moment. And I don't see that changing very soon.
Even when you look at some of the Nuke officials that VP Prodigy have played off of HLTV, mate, it looks drastic. I mentioned that Inner Circle result. They lost it 10-13 against the Poles in the advanced qualifier. Some of the other results that you can look at being in the European Pro League Division 2, they lost this map 5-13 against Prestige. And that's Frostlev, Nikki B, Mizzy, Foco, but I've not even heard of any of these players. They then lost it in overtime recently against Glitchtech, Jay, one of the teams that we see participating in the UK scene. That's the likes of Behind X, the Danish in-game leader, Joski, Finsky. That went down 17-19. And it just doesn't make sense. When you look at how their results have played out, their map pool, everything about every other tournament outside of the RES Showdown, these guys are worse than average. They are poor in Tier 2 and Tier 3.
Well, 1xBet odds have started shifting their direction. Moneyline for VP Prodigy's favour, Ecstatic. Pushed truly on the back foot and do not have much momentum to swing back onto the front. They'll do their best. The rifles brought into this round have not quite found the impact just yet. It's a MAC-10 for TMB, of course. He dropped the AK over towards Sira. One sacrificial element Minute to go, and Bist wants to get aggressive.
Just play around his own smoke for the moment. VP Prodigy have been baited quite a lot of util on both the top side and out there towards ramp. Forever is playing very defensive in garage, meaning that they could have crossed on a timing out there to the back of T-Red towards Secret, and that's why they're clearing out Secret with 2 at lower.
Kill for Turo and Bist. Double up of the M4. 2 lined up by Nut. Looks to look for the triple. Backside has 1 player. Triborg, a concern, has utility pulled out, so Nut can trade him. Burst door to the last man out towards the outside, but cannot deal with Bist in heaven. Got very close to making a clutch happen there, but not to be.
I actually don't know what's happening right now, Jay. Like, I know that VP Prodigy picked this map, and they've picked it in a few other tournaments, but they are going up against a legitimate top 30 team in the world. They're going up against a team that is playing their 6th grand final in 2025 when they've previously won 4 of them and only lost a single one. I'm not sure how it's 10-6 up right now.
And I'm afraid, Dweg, I'm not sure either. But this weekend has defined logic in VP Prodigy's matches. And Ecstatic seem to stick with that particular trend, at least right now. One AK for Nut, trying to be the hero again, like he almost was in the last round. A VP, they're ready to receive him.
Ecstatic can overwhelm quite quickly the A bomb site just because lobby's been taken so heavily, but it's what you do on the post that's going to make it very difficult. Best AWP just waiting for the lockers. If they scale on the outside above towards heaven, he won't be able to do anything.
AK cannot get the trade. Bomb was dropped, but can get recovered quickly. TMB now on the bomb site, can have that bomb plant come down. Nut's hunting for picks though. Player at heart undetected. Player at mini checks him. 2 more kills simultaneously. Syrup under sight. Cannot get up sight. Cannot get any more than 1 kill. VP Prodigy. 11 on their board now. Ecstatic. Very, very rapidly losing this nuke.
And it makes me very happy, Jay, that in 2025 we can have underdog stories, because I think VRS has killed that. With the idea that at the Tier 1 tournaments, you get invited off of ranking, the exact same from Tier 2, you just see the same teams week in, week out, don't you? No matter what you follow in Tier 1 or Tier 2, you always see the same names. It was always pre-VRS where you would get a squad that would maybe come out of nowhere and show that they can compete in Tier 2. You don't see it anymore. This has been an incredible run from them, and again, just an opening pick within the first 15 seconds. They're feeling it. The confidence is high from them.
Taking down Cyril already in the AWP shot from Bist. Turo taking TMB. Triborg is at least traded by Christo, but 2 for 1s, favouring VP again, as they have been all half long so far. Not up Phil, but Static have run out of steam on this map. Oh, shot missed by Christo. That reeks of frustration, that does. Glock pulled out, Turo able to take him. Not finds the rifle in trade. Still 38 HP for the man, and still a man down for Ecstatic. AWP in his hands, hoping he can get some sort of trade frag. But no one in lobby. Akron instead on the roof. Just missed the visual of him. Might start to call the outside access. That might leave Forever in a bit of an awkward spot. Molotov going to drive him away. Shot on. Where's the second man? Aqua gets the trade. All on Unlay now.
Yeah, just running out of time. Player dropping down towards default. Anlay needs to basically get the bomb, go back towards A or vent drop. This is an impossible task.
No shot missed for Bist, but the Deagle does not. Map point VP Prodigy, 12-6. And we both had a pretty confident 2-0 for Ecstatic in this one. That's certainly not going to happen true. Not going to come true. Well, last thing I expected from VP Prodigy's map win would be something as dominant as what this has looked here today.
Well, TMB currently has 1,600 maps played on HLTV. Christo's at about 1,100. Anlay's close to 900. Syrah's close to 700. Everyone on VP Prodigy has 22 or lower. That's crazy, bro! Like, they've literally had almost no events played on HLTV for any of their careers, and almost all of the maps have been within the last 12 months with this organization.
Again, the experience difference should leave VP no chance, but that's been the case for all of their matches so far here in RES. Aqua leans forward, Tribal catching TMB on an outside challenge that goes well for him. M4 swing of Aqua goes wrong for that man though. Bist gets out of there with a quick shot on Christo. Syrah still in play at low HP. Tribal's got another kill on the upper bomb site. 3-on-2 again for VP. Syrah at Decon, watched by Bist. Door opens. Oh, what is that? 180 shots on and a triple to close out the game. 13-6. VP Prodigy looking lights out to open up the grand final.
Well, perhaps there's a very good reason why Bist was the second highest rated player of the event coming into this best of three. That was an exceptional second half from him, and I think it was just a bit of flair. It was an entertaining game. I think what we see quite often with the higher end tier 2 squads, it's all about fundamentals, right? Playing passive CS, playing timing CS, working man advantages. We don't see the 2v3 retakes with 5-10 seconds on the clock where they come in from heaven, and then they were playing fun Counter-Strike, and it was a really good joy to see them out there on Nuke.
Yeah, look, I have to say I am pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting this one to have much weight behind it for the VP Prodigy side. I thought their luck was going to run out at some point. I thought it would be here and now. And I thought Ecstatic were going to get 2-0 them. But that's not happened. We're going to be playing out a second map for Ecstatic where if they are going to win this series, they're going to drag it out to number 3. And honestly, Dwayne, I'm not sure what their mental is like because towards the end of that map, seeing a lot of basic mistakes there. The rush forward with the Glock pulled out, the AWP shot missed. In that last round, you saw a gap there towards the red smokes. Like, I'm worried they've gotten a little bit tilted off the back of that nuke.
No, I don't think they were making too many mistakes. They just lost too many opening fights, especially in the gun rounds. You look at that second half, Bist was just working outside. He was just getting that AWP in, and he was getting picks against Syrah, both at silo and from deep outside, within the first 15 seconds. When you're losing fights that early into rounds, it's very difficult to recover. So I think for Ecstatic, yeah, it was disappointing from map number 1, but individually, they just got pumped. I mean, players weren't putting up massive amounts of numbers in either the first half or the second half, whereas for VP Prodigy, we were seeing clutches and highlights in almost every gun round from them.
Yeah, I mean, look, it just was X Factor Central, which is part of the reason why I'm looking forward to what the future has for this VP Prodigy side for the rest of their what's going to happen for this project and what they individuals are going to be able to do. But here and now, a victory in the short term is not impossible. Nuke taking, Ancient is up next. It is Ecstatic's map pick, so maybe some home territory might inject some sense back into this series. We're going to head to a break and find out when we return.
Out. Out.
Wow, against the position that they really should have been in, Virtus Pro Prodigy have managed a map win. 13-6 at that over on a Nuke. And now we have to move towards Ecstatic's map pick. It is Ancient coming up next up here, Dwayne. And honestly, I'm not as worried as I was before the break, but I'm still sort of having those concerns about me because, look, I know they were making a lot of mistakes. They were losing out a lot of jewels in the overall. It's those ending few rounds that have me most concerned about that Nuke carrying in towards this Ancient, where I do see some of those silly mistakes coming up, and I am concerned that there is a tilt factor involved.
Well, I think for VP organisation, they might need to think about dropping the main team and getting this team to blast open because there might be more potential here. I tell you, the 2-0 might actually be on. I thought Ecstatic were tested quite a lot against Fnatic yesterday. And I think it was only one good round from Nut on an anti-force buy that edged the momentum over the line. Whereas for VP Prodigy, they slammed foot. It wasn't close. It wasn't competitive. Now I can look at the majority of other tournament runs and I can look at the Ancients on HLTV and off of HLTV. It doesn't give me faith. The only one that does is that result yesterday.
Yeah, that foot matchup, a 13-5 is what VP Prodigy won over them in their Ancient matchup. For Ecstatic, they obviously got a 13-9 for a result over Fnatic in their semi-final game yesterday. So they've got some good results of their own, but it's just the slamming that Foot had to take from VP Prodigy. It makes me go, okay, now we go from a position where the opponents have picked into a solid map for the other side, and now similar story in reverse here. Ecstatic, we're on the T side, start things. Now, are they going to show up the true level of what we've seen from them over the last year, basically? Pistols live on the CT side of VP Prodigy. It's all straight USPs, and Turo and Bist are going to make light work of Syrah and Unlay. Headshots are plenty. Christo in mid can get one, but Triborg quick to respond. A site is open. Bomb plant can't go down, though. VP Prodigy are too quick to the rotations. Even though TMB is going to give it a try, even though Nut's going to try and stand for as long as he can, it's not going to happen. Both players domed out quickly, and VP have a pistol.
And I've said it quite frequently, Jay, in CS2 broadcast comparison to CSGO. In Go, you weren't able to win games and series off of pure individual. You can in CS2. With the way that it plays out, it's more suited for individual teams that are very sharp, very confident. And I look at that pistol round and I go, geez, what a statement. They're pushing cave, they're pushing down ramp, and they're just so on the money with opening contacts. Just no one is even given a chance there from the Danes.
And that means momentum continues. This round streak continues. 8 CT rounds in a row for VP Prodigy between this map and the last. That should extend to 9 as well, with the M4 firing his eco pistols, damage being done, blinded, couple of SMG kills, track trick of SMG frags in fact from Aqua. $2,100 of bonus cash from his kill count, plenty of money available for him. VP Prodigy will face the rifle buys of Ecstatic now.
Now, we were casting the Sparta team in the opening day of the competition when they took on Fnatic, and what you'll recognise from that series, Jay, Dijon, Solby and Yoramata, they all played on the Fluffy Gangsters and played with Bist. He's the only player that's had what I would say is a semi-professional team before joining up on VP Prodigy. Everybody else, this is their first real tenure into the pro scene.
And you're getting a little bit of an explanation as to why he's been so proficient on this VP Prodigy roster. A little bit extra experience behind him, although star power certainly is something that he comes packaged with as well. Nut training back on Turo, who kicked things off here in round number 3. Main access defended right now for VP Prodigy as Nut backs away at only half HP.
Well, I love the way that they're playing on the front foot. They're constantly searching for space, and it means that Ecstatic are going to have tough times in the default of just being settled, because you're always up against counter-aggression. We saw the tree player go 1-for-1. A-main's now been completely taken for forever, so they can kind of give mid here. They can let him focus towards elbow, and they can stack 3 players up on B. From this setup, there should be no way that Ecstatic can win this round.
Yeah, as soon as they saw Nut diving out, they had the perfect read, pushed on, and now they're going to take this map control away. These spots of information towards lanes now going to eventually find Unlay to fall. Tribal credited with it, Aqua. Flashbang off the back of the wall. Molotovs will return from the T side, but it will not go towards bomb site, bouncing back off the pillar. Syrah does find an exit strategy by finding Aqua on the return. Forever counter rotates it back towards T spawn. But as do Ecstatic counter the stall, eventually will pick up the pace and head back towards A.
And this is where Bist just needs to try and deny the plant. He can play out towards Brokey and just try and play time.
Two lined up, doesn't get both of them, just the one man of Syrah. Christo plants that bomb, 2v2 retake up for VP Prodigy, only with a kit on Forever, who's making his way in towards mid right now. A fight on Nutnut could well decide how this round goes down. That bomb planter, that bomb diffuser rather, can't be really picked up by Triborg. Even 44 HP as well, both players back to face him. He's drawing him deep in towards CT spawn, goes 1 for 1. Smoke down, kit on. Diffuse held all the way by Forever. Not going to peek it. He's called a bluff. That isn't a bluff, really. Diffuse held, and Static will not claim their first. It's 3 on a trot for VP.
Well, TMB's called an excellent mid-round because you are trapped completely. There's 3 players on B. There's a wrap coming in. VP Prodigy are just set completely. And he recognizes, hang on, there's a flank out in T-spawn. There's quite a lot of players on B. Let's try and fake that we're going out there towards shelves. So you create a bit of movement, you slow it down, you kind of go back to cave, you then move towards A. When you're in that circumstance where there's not much going for you, getting 4 kills and a bomb plant is a positive note. However, you do need to look at the scoreline and say, at what point are they going to win their first T rounds?
The question they'll be asking themselves here. Tech9 of TMB can't get the kill on Aqua. Sloppy fight from the pistol. At least he's got the rifles on the other players of Ecstatic brought in to try and find more here. Christo can land on Triborg. Player in a cave is Aqua, left out of the bomb site, so they will have access for a plant here, but how has Bist done that? What happened there?
Up towards ramp somehow. Yeah, just maybe getting caught flashed in the process, just knifes his teammate. Well, that round collapses itself completely.
Yeah, Sarah's extended towards Bist. Aqua going to get his kill. Smoke down to the back lines, but not on the bomb itself. Just going to go hunting for some more of these engages here, and isolates another fight on Nudna. Only Turo was still back there behind the T-smoke over at lane, then maybe there might be an opportunity presenting. Aqua back will be turned towards Zero, so he'll shut down all the potential in the round. Turo eventually found by Unlay, so yeah, a little bit of awkwardness there from VP Prodigy. May have, well, I say may have, definitely gave away the round with that knife kill. I'm not sure exactly how, but what's done is done. Ecstatic are on the board.
And now the economy is in ruin. 1 alive previously, go into the next. Double eco, have to buy it down. Great start into the round. That's a good jump face out there to long.
What?
It doesn't even look like he knives him.
What? What have I just seen?
Now they need to reset quickly, because otherwise you're going to give quite a round streak over here to the Danes.
Forced by in from VP, rushing down 1 man of Unlay, clearing out all of lane access. 5-7 from range, can't quite go all that well for Triborg. Fall back out, start making their way into the A main entrance where Turo is waiting.
Up a tree, this is a perfect position with an MP9.
Spray through, Syrah next man up, goes down. Triple not quite allowed, but Forever can finish off TMB in a 1-on-5 for Christo. Oh, Ecstatic should have gotten a whole lot more out of this round.
How many times do I say it, Jay? One of the best positions in the game, isn't it? That close range, when you can get a bit of a distraction, when you can have a second teammate that's drawing in that sight line, you just start ripping. Doesn't matter if it's an MP9, a 5-7, an M4, it's just so good, so dangerous in that position. And Christo, look, if he gets the B player, there's a way into the round to at least get the plant down. I'm surprised that Anlay went passive, or I should say passive, solo into lane. And Christo's being heard, rotation comes up. You expect this AWP to fall. It's a decent effort. He's done quite well there.
Bomb plant just about comes down, I think, from here, yep. But Pin behind the totem will try his best to isolate picks, but another good shot on Triborg. I mean, look, it's sharp from the man, but just the circumstances were never going to allow that clutch. VP Prodigy right back in control, right back against Ecstatic, and the round being what it was in the previous, money's going to be weak in areas. There should still be a buy for Ecstatic, but it won't be perfect.
So just to go back to the discussion about Anlay, this is an anti-force buy round. They know that the economy's weak, and they've just sent Anlay solo. There's no secondary player to crossfire, and for me, when you're going up against a weakened buy, if you're playing solo lane, you can't really take space. You've got to be sitting out of the doors because you're worried about a ramp push, you're worried about a cave push. You can't even play anti-flash when you're solo, so he just gets caught. It's an easy rifle that gets recovered with the opening pick.
Nades on, damage to Unlay. Starting for VP Prodigy, of course. 3 AKs in play for Ecstatic. The Deagle on Nut being the weakened element. Unlay's Galil was wanting to take initial contact. TMB did prod forward, but getting nothing out of this cheater position, and it's kind of been the name of his game so far. 0 and 5 on his kill counts.
I haven't seen the double cheater, so this is going to draw the 1M4 out in the open. The other one should swing on the contact, and it's a bit uncomfortable here for VP.
And TMB can punish it. Unlay sponges the damage. Toro is his way out into the open of mid as backup of Bist there as well. Finds a fight, which he loses. Sira takes both him and Forever. Even dips in with TMB to try and get the AWP. Bist has got to fall away. Ecstatic are up a 5-on-2.
Well, it's good control there from Elbow and Shelf. It's an opening pick, and if we can recognize anything that's happened in prior gun rounds, VP Prodigy like to be on the front foot in the mid round. They like to take space away. They like to make a lot of info gathering maneuvers, and right there, you lose your opening out towards Cave, so you try and re-aggress. You try and see if you can work anything out in mid, and Sira's just watching from Elbow, and this is going to be a very expensive round. All CT should drop.
Only a matter of time. Bist. Shot missed. And Unlay will pick him up. Ecstatic second has forced VP Prodigy to rethink their strategy. Tactical pause from their perspective.
A few HLTV officials from VP Prodigy on Ancient recently. They played it in the playoffs of the European Pro League against the Kosovo side of Mana that went down 3-9 on their city half, went into the second half, had a pretty good T side, only got to double digits. And then the one before that was against the Northern Lights. Wanda and Snow are probably the only recognizable names on that Swedish team. That also went to overtime, 19-15. And then just before that, they took on the Germans of Experian NXT. Dennis owns that organization, a part of that sort of academy system. And there was a 7-13 loss there. Jansen, the only player that I recognize out of that entire 5J, because he was involved with the Sprout project for a little bit. So there are officials, not the best of results from them, but 4-2, they are making Ecstatic sweat a bit.
M4 barely able to get seen, still covered by that smoke. Christo didn't realize how close he was to losing his life, and will be able to get away. Well, with teammates as Bist starts to receive flashbangs with Forever. Out over a donut. Molly's also sent deep. Christo's shot on. Bist goes down. Secondary player's only got a pistol. Second M4 will fall to Unlay out towards lane. Everything else comes crumbling down for a respectable damage done towards Ecstatic, though. 3 players on low HP, one of which is back in the A bomb site, and Trouble's going to get TMB to fall, so maybe an expensive round still in it here for VP. Even that's questionable here with Tribal backing away from the bomb site, and as well, the expense might not matter in the short term because they're forced into this round for VP. They're really looking for the round steal.
Really gimmicky round coming through from VP Prodigy. I mean, that boost up at ramp, you never see that. It's very strange with the position that it's held and around the smoke. You then have the other M4 that's on the front side of the donut totem, not jiggling on the back, not playing in for a position where you can take contact and fall away. Maybe that's something that we should be expecting in both the first half and the second half of these gimmicks. Ecstatic, though, I think against both of them, don't really get caught off guard. And maybe you just can't win by playing fundamental Counter-Strike. With how they've looked in every other tournament, maybe that's the reason why they're not doing too well in Tier 2, or really even Tier 3 for that matter.
Well, you say that individual prowess can sometimes win you a CS2 game. That individual X Factor isn't there for a map or two or a series. Have to fall back on those fundamentals. If those aren't there for VP Prodigy, then it's where Ecstatic can start to springboard back into control. They've allowed A lot of momentum to go the way of the opponents for a while. That seems to have come to an end, at least for the time being. Last USB Abyss unable to find TMB. So no casualties taken. They can start to build their economy basis. Ecstatic. Base the rifles again from VP and now look for a lead at 4 apiece.
Bit surprising too that VP Prodigy haven't sent the team to a lot of the local lands, because there are quite a lot of them going on at the moment. I think notice a lot of the other squads, your Cyber Shokes as an example, they go to quite a few of them, a K27, the Nova Q, those kind of squads. We see them quite a lot playing on LAN. But for whatever reason, for VP Prodigy, it's only been online tournaments for them.
Rounding their way through tier 3 above all else. Syrian mid finds or tries to find a fight. There's 2 players there in mid access. Ultimately loses his life. 2 trades do come back from Ecstatic though. B site taken as a result. VP Prodigy backing off because their money just is not great. They have to prioritize the rifles in the next round because this is not a viable retake.
Well, they handled the mid-offensive quite easily. Sierra drops. The problem is they both lost fights out on B. They lose the cave player straight away, and then TMB is just walking up ramp and gets a good timing against the FAMAS. The B players needed to block. They needed to stall with util. They needed to put more impact up in terms of kills, and they do neither. Ecstatic can generate a round streak that's now starting to get out of control of what VP Prodigy can handle. You've gone from 4-1 to now 4-5 down. This has been a good showing from TMB and co.
And in trying to find these last riflers, they've been unsuccessful. There won't be a massive amount around it. Again, they do have enough to buy the extra rifles, but for mass limitations, Turo's only got a smoke available for himself. Still enough utility for the other 4 players. Quick swing, Unlay tries to fight but misses his opportunity. Not quite able to get away alive.
Unlay's not hearing any aggression coming down from mid. We've seen VP Prodigy quite put a lot of pressure towards that donut entrance in the past and out to elbow. Pissed with the timing just when they start setting for what is going to be an A exec. They need to get a little lurk smoke there from Turo. He needs to try and help out his site player.
Not gets caught for damage. HG coming his way. Dead. Turo also involved with Bist at a crossfire. The 2-man unit takes down 4 players between them. Manley lost the bomb, lost access to the site, and now lost his positional and surprise advantage. I mean, this round's going the way of VP Prodigy. It was 5 apiece, but even again.
Excellent game sense there from Best. You're in a position where when you're at the back of default, it's quite easy to be tunnel visioned when you take a fight to not put util out. You're worried about the further swing, the cross towards big box, players scaling on the left-hand side. You want to set crossfire with Aqua. But as soon as he tags up that tree player, he just gets the instant HE out there, and then that's when they can set between the 2 of them. Turo, the donut individual, doesn't even take damage. Best is the distraction. VP Prodigy, that's the kind of round that builds up a lot of confidence for the young players. Look at some of the ages. Best at 17, Triborg at 16, Turo at 17, Aqua at 18, Forever at 18. The only person that's got experience and age is the head coach of Problem at 26.
Counter-terrorists win.
Unlay goes down after time and he's got cash in reserve, so Ecstatic will go for a buy up here.
Counter-terrorists win.
Those are the last 2 rounds of this opening half. VP still make a 7-5 happen from this stance, as could Ecstatic. Might come down to how this next round goes on here. First 30 seconds into the round and no initial kills. It's damage under TMB and map control taken by VP towards ramp. Dry looks out here at lane, engaged from Aqua. Doesn't quite get his kills. Second chance does though. Anlay, first to fall.
Series going to take this moment now that they've lost a pick in the lane position to try and exploit a timing out to Red Room. So he's working behind the smoke. What you're probably expecting here is a B-site exec with Syrah coming in late. Now he has to be impactful because if he drops, the round's finished.
Bisley to check shelf. Aqua moves with the rifle instead to clear out that corner. Now the red's clear. B's got to be a target. Smokes. Molotovs to backside. Short covered off. Long still exposed. Christo's hoping that they buy that and extend. Nut's going to cross that bomb past Long, however. Ash from his teammates for TMB to peek. Nut's moving with him. Can combine onto Aqua. Second player known to have escaped to the left-hand side. Counter flash is there. TMB with a big old extension and two players on the lineup. That has brought it back for Ecstatic.
Yeah, Turo's coming in quickly from Cave, and the wraparound's coming in from Ramp 2.
Christo lands him, and TMB finds Forever. Forever a quadra for them, man. Ballsy plays made, and finally they've really started to work up for him. A 0-5 at one point in this map. Now 7-7 on his KD ratio. Minimum 6 taken for Ecstatic as a result.
I believe there's a lack of disrespect that comes into that round for VP Prodigy. They were up on a 5v3. Rather than sending themselves in, they're playing very passive, aren't they? They're giving everything to Ecstatic. All the map control, all the util usage. No pressure against them at all. And I think that's the wrong way to play a man-up situation like that. Sit back and let the favourites play.
Well, Bist will get the man advantage again, this time for the Orcs position over at the B bomb site. Syrah inserted so far further and more quickly into red. Forever's going to mark this time. 5-on-3 established. Bist's Orb leans closer and at point blank can take down Unlay. 2 left in for Ecstatic. Orb of Christo. Knows he forced his man away, does not pull the trigger to that attempted jump bait. Aqua moving out towards elbow, will recognise that no one's here. Over at mid, Bist will land on Christo, and now Nut's being flanked. He's also dead. All 5 alive for VP Prodigy. Again, for a little bit of confidence, they transition to the second half at 6 apiece. All evened out again at the turn of the half, like it was over on Nuke. And now on the T side of Ancient, VP Prodigy have to ask themselves if they can go 7-0 in this second half like they did as well on that opening map. Pistols live to start things off. Already Goosh onto Syrah, and they're going to charge him down. They know he's in a red. We'll check this corner, jump face away. Aqua kills him, gets the credit in for the kill. TMB forced back, does take one with him, but Turo is able to deal with that man. Bomb can make his way towards the A bomb site. He's still got one player to deal with. Triborg, meanwhile, cutting off the rotate is Christo. Goes down, Nut faced by a squadron of 3. And Unlay will be known towards CT spawn, so that bomb's going to commit, not like it even needs to. Triborg's got a triple, and it's a pistol win for VP Prodigy.
It's an excellent showing in terms of pace there from the T side. Packing, grouping, everyone just hitting, obliterating headshots. And for TMB, one factor that I do wonder is, do we need to see more fragging output from him in this best of 3? I mean, I look back at the series yesterday against Fnatic. He had, what, 27 kills, 43 deaths. He had just 2 kills on map 1. Didn't see a lot from him in the first. He come into Ancient. Yes, you're not always looking at your in-game leader to put up a huge amount of individual performances, but 8 kills, 9 deaths. When you've got a game that's a bit touch and go, when it's a bit nervy and you are getting pushed the distance, you almost want him to show as an example that he can perform.
And VP Prodigy have set themselves up on a perfect position, a perfect pedestal to run away with this and claim a 2-0. You said it was on before we got into this Ancient, and right now it feels more likely than ever before. The eco will come to pass. Static will buy their rifles into the next round, which may well be, or at least one of their last chances to resist what VP Prodigy have brought to the table today.
And it would be such a letdown to qualify to Blast Open, but to have this as your grand final. I mean, for Christo, Anlay, Nut, and Syrah, they're going to be playing at their very first Blast event. Like, that's a huge achievement to be able to get to Blast Open, to play with Tier 1 teams, to be in a position where you could go on to actually play in London in front of a live audience. And you come here in a grand final where there's not much on the line, and VP Prodigy, not even VRS ranked, losing 0-2, doesn't feel right.
Maybe the lack of stakes is what's caused them to let off the gas a little bit. Although I will say, losing to an unranked team in a ranked matchup means you're going to lose a number of VRS points, and Ecstatic already set to go down one place in the world by Monday, so that might increase if this continues to go the way that it is. At least Nut has struck first onto Bist, so VP Prodigy have an advantage. Have a player also low HP. They're focusing on another individual. Turo does get picked up, as does Forever. Aqua fighting alone now in mid, trying to hold Dominion over the bomb, but he can't hold on forever. Triborg, the watched for here at the shelf and picked up by Nut's double. Ecstatic are on the board for the CT side.
And this has got to be where the head coach now of Manx needs to sort of try and step in as the series progresses on, and the trajectory towards the tail end of the year for Ecstatic. Because, I mean, I know that he's played in a Blast event previously. I think back to late 2022 when he was an active player for Ecstatic. He played at one of those full showdowns, and they always got a taste, but always went out early because you're lower seeded team. You always get overlooked by the better squads, and then they lost out 0-2 versus Heroic in that matchup. Just try and get a top-end Tier 2 team more consistent in that Tier 1 atmosphere. Aqua running in towards Shelf with that cave smoke, and into Donut, you've got a very defensive setup of just one.
Shot to the shoulder of Syrah will tag him for a quarter HP. Out, but the VP can get in the initial stances. Tribal taking a lot more in return, and first fight left him at 60. Second fight has left him at 15. VP playing weakened now. Ecstatic continue to progress.
VP Prodigy just get caught on the timing. Pist has been spammed, and Lay stuck in the corner. The Galil's desperate for this fight, just about catches him.
Bursted through to the right position to reveal the information beyond that smoke, so one-for-one trades. Triborg still low HP.
A-walk too, while all this distraction's going on at lane.
Syrah's wary of it, but he might have to be wary about the incoming mid-presence as well. Here's the noise. Triborg, we first player forward. He's looking to the back line, seeing that player to util pulled out. Aqua caught. Bits with a good trade. He's keeping his teammates in this round. The HE, however, that should not get Triborg by a margin of 1 point of health. He stays alive. Forever does not, though, and they counter-rotate again back into that B-bomb site. Only chance they have to get the bomb plant here. Triborg will stick around and try stall for time, but Bist is going to have to come up with a magical clutch on his lonesome almost. Fight doesn't quite get the kill on TMB. It's all on Bist now.
50 HP, and just no chance in this one whatsoever. I think if his teammate got one, you could maybe see it. You could separate the CTs. You could give yourself the 1v2. A VP Prodigy, unfortunately, don't get any impact out of Forever. When we look at that A-walk and the one-for-one trade against Syrah, he's got to be in a position where he can cut those rotates, whether it's the CT players or it's the individuals coming out from Temple. I think he got flashed off of the angle, but he just gets nothing. They needed something. Yeah, it was definitely Christo with a flashbang to swing that corner. And then for Nut, you can give him credit for not being tunnel visioned, right? I think it's quite easy for him and TMB to just focus their attention on the bomb site when the bomb's going down.
Early damage again from VP. Suffered by Turo. Double HEs on TMB though, get that kill. They're gonna apply the accelerator real quick. Unlay should be known towards Lon, gets that kill on bit before he drops. Galil in the open for Tribal, cannot capitalize upon the kill. The smoke's in the way before they can find the trade. Turo now burning, he's dead. Aqua to 44, Ecstatic. 4v2 on this retake, should surely be a matter of time before this round goes their way, unless Forever does something real special with a Tech 9 in hand. Not ready for Unlay. Aqua on A, he's out of there, he's running for the hills. A backstab coming in far too late. Ecstatic on the side, defuse will be held. It'll be 9 for the CT side.
Very clever double HE out there to the cave entrance. The disappointing factor for me, Jay, is that they smoke off long and short. And when you're on the weakened buys, you've got to try and take space. When you smoke yourself off on the bomb site, you open yourself up for spams. And there's no way that you can fight against those rotating players. I would have liked to have seen no long smoke there and just flash your way through. Put pressure against Anlay. Don't just smoke him off. Made it so difficult for the T's. I mean, you've got your site player Forever that's basically, what, a 1v4? Because the cave players just left him. And a tactical timeout comes through because now it's starting to feel as if the favourites have got themselves a round streak that is going to push them over the line. It's going to take the likes of the Danes towards that third map.
VP are calling in tacticals to try and counteract. And their second of this map. Still with the broken buys though. Galil's in for 3 players. Tech 9 on Turo. Hard to believe that they won't be able to get that far with these kind of investments. They need to start to save some cash and bring in the true weapon buys here. Aqua with his AK will lean forward first. Unlay will be known about. Blind sprays go back and forth, and eventually they connect better for the CT side. Triborg first to fall.
I saw Anlay doing that on the T side towards default. Now we get to see it in the second half. Aqua working a timing. Forever working a timing. Individuals trying to create pays.
Bristow takes him. Aqua trying to lean around towards that long position. Bomb plant should be secured. Turo leans up. TMB. Dull just lines up with Christo. Kills are plenty. Let's take her own teammate out, unfortunately, but Bist is still in a 1 versus 4, so there's no real way that he makes this happen here. Half HP on him. Detected. Dead. Can't quite generate the same impact that he was on the first map. Up only 9 kills here and now. I think he ends up at 24.
Yeah, 24 and 10.
Nuke, yeah.
So you go from having a superstar performance to now one where you weren't even really getting the AWP very much in the first half. Certainly hasn't had the AWP much in the second half because of the way the economy's going down. But you are right. When you've got a player that performs at that sort of pedigree, you don't expect it to be the same, but you don't expect the drop-off to be as harsh as it has.
Think back to Fnatic in the semi-finals. They had Cypher doing mental things on map number 1, but couldn't quite generate the same sort of impact. In the end, they fell. Exact same scenario here for Bist. And for a guy that stood out the most, you mentioned how highly ranked he's been in the competition overall. And VP Prodigy still forcing these buys, desperate attempts at trying to get one of these rounds together. I would have loved to have seen an eco. They're on max, or a half buy rather. They're on max loss bonus.
I appreciate it, to be honest, Jay. I think when you're the underdogs, you can't ever give easy rounds towards an opposition. In the way that you keep getting bomb plants, keep getting a few casualties, you've got to keep that high press up against the Danes.
You got 1 AK on Triborg, though. The Mac 10 of Aqua does start things off better in this round, however, at least. A good rush down onto TMB. Run him out of that cheetah angle. Meanwhile, Turo starts to lean up at main. Does fall back for a second, though. His teammates are on the way. Ecstatic of 2 defenders here.
VP Prodigy got themselves a little bit of a beast smoke going down. Some U2 out. I think that smoke's missed anyway. But it has pulled a rotation. Syrah is rotating away, meaning that Christo is completely alone to defend A.
And his back being turned as well. Gun barrel seen. Turo Slow walk up and find him. And that's the round over. Ecstatic know they're going to save their weapons. So there you go. Finally, a round working out of a VP with the broken buy stays. They can recover that AWP. Don't think the rifle that TMB had is quite accessible. But at long last, Prodigy can put a stop to this streak of Ecstatic.
Now, I've got a funny feeling that we are going to see a hyper extension from Ecstatic in the very next gun rounds. Great exits coming through from Aquats and saving CTs. Really good work. We've seen 2 rounds in a row now in which the Ts have sent it from one player in particular aggressively into Cave. It's been with either the Brolin Molly or a flashbang. So I predict either one or two things. Ecstatic are either going to try and take ramp, or they should fight Cave aggressively as 2 and get a lane flash from either the B-side anchor or the mid players. I think they're giving too much respect towards Accra and these aggro moves. I'd like to see a counteraction with pace.
Nice double nades again on Triborg, so Ecstatic have got their early advantage. Another great HE, this time landing more centralized towards Bist. Blind sprays at TMB, dishing out significant damage. Triborg getting risky with his engagements, goes down a little bit more, but doesn't get anything on return. Meanwhile, Unlay stands up on the bomb site. Kill on the first, heavy damage to the second. Not. Gonna catch Aqua extending, get his kill. Look for the bomb carrier and double up. Bist can trade him. TMB next up, shot missed. Second player down, and Ecstatic will hold at 11th round.
I think they've done everything right in that round. They haven't smoked off long this time. They've scaled up. They've got 1-for-1 against the site anchor. It's just that Nut has played that perfectly. Let's consider, on a mini-map perspective, where they're playing from. Nut is passively in long, and TMB is passively in cave. It means that between the two of them, they can kind of play on a contact where they're not quite overextending, and they're making it very difficult for the T-side line. And when you have those two players both getting multi-frags, of course you're going to farm the round.
Taking quite a bit of time for Ecstatic to really get confident in this series. Here they are alive. They just have to thrive now. Double orbs of Crystal and Nut. Set and ready for Ecstatic. VP. Very quiet on their part.
They're waiting for a play of info, and it is coming out towards ramp, but whether the timing works for an opening kill, that's something else. Now, even for TMB, it's not an opening kill or an opening casualty. It doesn't see much out towards lane, so it's good info.
Oh, good shots on Unlay, extending out of red, getting the kill. Doubling up with a dink down initially onto Bist, the AWPer falling quickly forever. The opposite of his namesake here in these rounds. 5-on-3 established by Ecstatic. Walks forward into the bomb site. Unlay's going to get a triple. He's rocked his world again. Quick swing of Tribal against TMB, and Unlay will finally fall to Turo. Bomb plant. Tapped once, flashed away. Counter spokes go deep on the CT basis. Slight gap for Tribal to work with. Flash forward, check it, spray through, comes up good against Cyril with a headshot. Christo's turned it back though. Triborg's in a 1-on-2 now. Sneaking back beyond that smoke. Diffuse, tapped and held. Footsteps taken, but Christo's too quick. Will land his kill. Plenty of time for this defuse. It's 12-9, map point for the Danes.
That's a bloody good effort to come through from the young man. The bomb's not planted for you. You've gone through that short smoke. You've had the placement of the spam perfectly, but you just can't quite move away. You know that Christo's going to have the AWPs. You need to try and get that kill, strafe in quickly, but Christo's just too good with it. It's a very fine shot. Not much room to work with at all there. And VP Prodigy, it's been a pretty good T-side from them, and it's just a bit of a shame that they haven't worked too many gun rounds, have they? They won opening pistol, they won the anti-eco, won a single gun round, and that's been it. It's been competitive, but it's been unsuccessful.
Some bright spots at the sneak forward towards the A-bomb side, but these big hits have been very unsuccessful by comparison. 1-for-1 trade with not going down in mid. Sierra going to continue to hold a position over at Pit as Unlaced strikes. It's going to get traded. The Incendiary forces Tribal back. Forever involved now towards Donut as he sneaks out of main and gets Sierra to fall. A 3-on-2 that favours VP Prodigy. Could work one more round out of this half here. Engagement from the man gets Forever to fall to a 2v2 instead. Individual fights across the board. Christos turned around, but couldn't quite lock onto the kill. Triborg puts it all in TMB's hands.
The best thing that TMB can do is pressurize from shelf, make it awkward for the bomb carrier to come out from B doors and up ramp.
Study extends and VP Prodigy cling on to a lifeline. Triborg with a quadra in the round. Difference maker for the moment. But will it last for only a moment?
Really good timing's being exploited in that round. You've got a lot of chaos of trading from Shelf and Elbow, and with all of that extension, it allows Forever to walk out on A. Now, he's had a really poor game in not only the kill counts, but also the lurk attempts. The amount of times that he's lurked, created space, and then just not produced anything. That's the very few times in which he does. Round 23 is going to feature a buy-up. Ecstatic are not looking to get a good, strong buy in round 24.
Zero strikes. Secondary on Forever as well, whilst blinded by that smoke. VP Prodigy again losing two quick opening picks. Now Christo's up to bat. He knocks out of the park with Biss to fall. Turo and Triborg, very different positions, isolated from each other. TMB, I almost found the backstab onto one of them. Leaning from Cave. SMG of Not will find a fight, but lose it. Kill found a return. And Turo, surely this is too much to handle.
And VP Prodigy will look at themselves and say, we won both pistols, both anti-force buy rounds, got to double digits. We needed to show more in the gun rounds. Was this a winnable map? It's maybe pushing it as a stretch, isn't it? I think it was a good performance from Ecstatic towards sort of the first few gun rounds in the first half, and especially in the second half. There were chances, but very few chances. And I think for that reason, Train is going to be quite excited because Ecstatic are back in the series.
Indeed they are, although I will say going into a map that hasn't been all that successful for them over the course of this competition, and certainly if we're looking at the likes of VP Prodigy, giving them their stripe because of what they've done in this competition, you have to consider that from the exact same point. Unfortunately, however, with the way that Ancient went down, didn't quite reflect their one result against Foot there. It wasn't the 13-5 stomping. We saw them get tested. We saw them have a look in to getting an advantage and getting initially over the Ecstatic side, but wasn't quite able to close things out overall. So I feel like there was a bit of a drop-off in performance, and that comes back to what you were saying earlier about fundamentals not being there for VP Prodigy. You might have those stars that might perform on Nuke. You can't carry that over towards Ancient, then Ecstatic are going to do what they just did.
What could be quite uncomfortable for VP Prodigy going into Train is they just don't really play a lot of it. First off, you're seeing it very rarely on HLTV, and you're seeing it even rarer on Liquipedia. At least Ancient and Nuke, there's a lot of reps. Yeah, they might not always be wins, but they're playing teams on it. Train is not the same conversation, so I think it's going to be a difficult final map decider from them.
Well, Ecstatic have picked it twice in this competition. They've lost it both times, but Train will decide whether they can be the overall champions of the RES Showdown 4-4. As we head towards a short break, we'll come back and we'll decide who is going to be our bracket victors.
User-friendly app. Big wins, fast payouts.
Well, Ecstatic have bounced back. VP Prodigy have regressed off the back of a great nuke from them. It was a great ancient from Ecstatic. Now it's Train to decide the champions of the RES Showdown for fall 2025. It's a bit of a weird one, Blake, because like on the one hand, we've seen some very confident bases from VP Prodigy, but we also look at how performances have gone from map to map, and we're seeing star players like Bist go 2.0 in their ratings over on Nuke to 0.77 by the time the Ancient had concluded. And it's like drop-offs like that, consistency like that, doesn't look like a very good sign in my eyes.
No, potentially not. But what is a good sign is how much Train's been played in the run-up to this tournament. It got played 3 times out of a total of 5 games that were played in the open qualifiers. They took on Kono ECF, had a 13-7, and they took on the European squad of Algo, had a 13-5, and then took on another Ukrainian squad in Leo and got a 13-10. They've also played it in every single best of 3 so far in the European Pro League in the group stage, but didn't play it in the playoffs. So under what I would say the last couple of weeks, a lot of Train has been played for this side.
Certainly, yes, that's good for them, and I disappointed the point where I'd argue whether or not that level of competition is relevant compared to Ecstatic, but obviously that argument is irrelevant considering what we've seen from VP Prodigy in the last couple of days. I will say that again, towards the favour of the VP Prodigy side is that we've seen it picked twice in this competition for Ecstatic, and they've lost it both of those times against Z10, against Fnatic. Fnatic blew them out of the water on this Train, so there is a positive element towards them. I think that right now what it comes down to is, can VP Prodigy show that X factor like what we saw on Nuke? Because if they can't, then I don't see a way that they can beat Ecstatic on Train.
Ecstatic are going to have some very good fundamentals on Train. They're going to be really good at being able to control pace on the T side, have really good CT lines in terms of calling from TMB on where he can kind of particularly put his players in the right poses. Now, something to think about is how important the knife round is going to be, whether it does get a win for Ecstatic, because unfortunately, Ecstatic picked Train against Fnatic and Z10, meaning that they always started on the T side. Now, against Fnatic, they went down, 4-8 at the turn of the half, and then against the Zero Tenacity side, they had a good lead, but went down 6-6. The fact that you've lost knife round again probably tells you you'll start T side. That might be a bit of an element to say, is it going to be another slow start again? Is it an opportunity for VP Prodigy to get a lead moving into that second half?
It's a very valid thing to consider because there's a pattern, right? When you've seen patterns like 2 map losses, when your own map picks on this particular map in question, then you have to start looking at those intricacies and those little details because, yeah, they will make a difference, I think, towards Ecstatic's campaign here. We'll just wait to see well, VT Prodigy decide to go forwards, although I don't see any reason why they would pick in towards the T side. I know we're talking about T side meta and T side biases in certain maps. Train that does not apply towards. So, yes, they will go towards that CT side pick. Ecstatic gonna have to really fight for their prominence here. We both had them down as a 2-0 team in this series. We obviously can't see a 2-0, but do you still back them to take Train, Blake?
Well, let's be realistic with ourselves. All eyes are on Liquid, Foot, and OG, and on VP's side of the bracket. And they're still here, and they're still fighting. They've already won a map in the grand final. Come on, let's give the underdogs a go. Let's see if they can really pull off the upset here.
Well, 1xBet do have Ecstatic as favourites once again. Their loyalties have shifted back and forth as these maps have played out, but the Danes still have their names to their name. It's now time to see whether they can show those names up and beat our VP Prodigy. Last map of the RES Showdown, it's Train. The Pistols are live.
Triborg just jump spotting to try and get contact out there from Ivy, and what he will see is quite heavy. Not only the bomb, but 3 players in total.
You've got flashbangs in there to try and stop any progress the teams might make out towards Ivy, but they will just slow walk it. Ooh, Turo's DC'd. I wonder if that'll be a stop call here. We're within the minute marker. VP Prodigy are going to play to the whistle, it seems. As Sierra goes down, it's a 1-for-1 trade unofficially. Aqua also gets TMB. Unlay trading, looks for a player into that back of Olaf position. Bist is closing in, but Tribal gets his kill. Bist lands on Notna, and Christo is all that remains. 1v3. Bombs picked up, rotating out towards that B bomb site. May all get a plant out of this. It seems like DCs won't affect VP Prodigy in the short term here. Rushing him down. Christo, pressured, doesn't know where to look. Bist will put him away. And VP Prodigy, despite the odds against them, despite the situation stacked, they will claim the pistol.
That really is incredible, because I tell you right now, Jay, they would not have been able to ask for a stop call, because yes, there was time still on the clock, but Triborg took contact out there from Ivy, so he took damage, so there would have been no way that that round would have got replayed. Ecstatic will be happy that they got a bomb plant bonus, but any time an advantage like that comes in, you've got to jump on it. And right there, it is the USPs that just start hitting and obliterating those T-side line.
VP Very good to get away with that pistol win. Ecstatic going to try and force the buy early, try and get involved into this matchup early. They know that they cannot afford to let VP Prodigy run away with another pistol and conversion set. Tally got started over on Ancient. Unfortunately for Ecstatic, they were able to bring it back to an even half. It was a very difficult task for them to do so, and obviously they weren't able to do so at all on the CT side of Nuke. The Eagles in a nut alongside TMB and the Tech 9. Those are the 2 pistols to the 3 Galils.
I mentioned how there's been a lot of players on Ecstatic that have never played at a Blast event before. One guy that has is their in-game leader. TMB played at 2 Showdowns, one of them in 2021 with Mad Lions, another one in 2023 with the Copenhagen Flames. Now in 2024, we'll be playing with Ecstatic in Blast Open. But will he be the victor here in the Showdown? Aggro, Util, Triborg seeing quite a lot, but taking a lot of damage in response.
Seeing the bomb as well as the main core of players of Ecstatic, meaning a lot of players are going to rotate back from the B bomb site in through CT to try and defend on this position. Are they going to be prepared here? Not firing. Biss takes some damage. Nothing done out until Christo finally drops Triborg with that kill. Forever leans forward. Unlay can get him, but now he's lost all of his backup. Needs to hold on to his lifeline because he's got the bomb right here, and Biss is going to take him down to a Tech 9 and the Galil for Ecstatic to make their way in. Syrah on 19 HP can get 1 out as TMB falls. 20 seconds. BP Prodigy know they've won the round here. Syrah will fight as well as he can, but unable to do so. VP convert on a second.
In the one game that we have seen on HLTV for VP Prodigy on Train, it was a very good performance coming out from Triborg in particular. That was the late run in the open qualifier up against Leo out there in the semi. And Triborg ended up having about 100 ADR in that series. To get the exact numbers up for you. 18 kills, 14 deaths, 95.9 ADR and a 1.48 rating. Wonder if he's going to be able to replicate something similar today.
Well, so far, he's among those top fragging players, only 2 rounds deep. 50-50 TMB shouldn't resist the likes of Bist and Co. forever. Get his start in this map up with a couple kills outside of T-Con. Azul, Treble get 5 overall. And that third up for the VP Prodigy side, Ecstatic with their gun buys once again.
And I'd like to see the squad of a VP Prodigy playing in sort of your CCT closed qualifiers, getting them a little bit more familiar in the Tier 2 landscape, because you always want to judge a team when they're playing frequently. And when you've got a very small sample size, it's difficult to get a good idea on, is it a one-off, is it a fluke, is it a new team on the rise? The fact that they are going to be ranked on VRS after this matchup is a positive sign for the next few months.
This nade set onto several players. A lot more damage being done towards Ecstatic. Line sprays of not trying to get involved here against the CT side line. Aqua pulsing forward without flashbang support. Not will not see him back at Olof. He still thinks there's a player over at the main entrance on A. Slow, careful. Considerate from Ecstatic. That initial noise is going to fall back away with damage done more so to them than it has the VP.
Anley's out towards the brown halls, and he's one with the molly, and Nut is the other one. Is it going to go down to Olaf? Because if it doesn't, this might be where Aqua gets 2.
Match forward. Aqua indeed gets his first. Is he on for the second man? Not quite. Christo training? No, he does find his second with Turo, getting 2 of his own. Christo alone in what was essentially a 1 versus 4 with only 1 pick found. BP Prodigy have locked in the 4th, locked them out of the bomb site. Very slow start from the Danes now.
They're just losing a lot of gunfights. They're not trading evenly. Out there in Olaf, it's a good individual sequence from Aqua, but also the players on the bomb train out there from the back of T-Red towards Sandwich, just not giving much of a chance towards Christo to return. Ecstatic will have another AK, and I like when you get the max round loss bonus, you've got to try and get a couple of heroes up. You've got to try and put some damage down. You've got to even look at some of these rounds of potentially stealing it. But this is a very good beginning for the Academy squad.
It's constant utility damage, something Ecstatic were very good at doing yesterday with their Inferno. Christo Hero AK is going to strike out with some more impactful kill counts. Only the 1 man here towards this Ivy in main angle. Back turn towards Triborg, who finds him with the distraction of his teammate, keeping his head turned away from the main entrance. Aqua can trade back unlaid. Bist does not check for this Deagle and Nut. An all-important pick, gets an AK in his hands. Sira, close range against Aqua, goes down just as quickly. Nut still involved here. Incendiary to the back of that bomb site. Bomb still out of the brown halls here. Could be a bomb plant snuck in by TMB, but Nut gonna have to continue fighting with the lurk plays. They'll stall it out. It will be a double fake instead. The rotations of VP by lack of info. Nut's going to sneak forward to the A-bomb train.
TMB's done well there to fake the sound cue, try and fake that bomb's going down from B ramp. How quickly do they go back into the brown halls and out towards Pop? Because with Ecstatic clearing map control, it might be that when this bomb goes down, they're already out to Pop.
Back train is the safest place to plant right now. Planting open for Con. Is there a swing? Not quite. Arturo is going to miss the mark on TMB as well. He'll start searching. They're both backed up in Z. Checking out the B bomb site just in case. Trying to set up a wider flank out towards this main entrance. Nut. They have eyes on the bomb because TMB is going to be very slow to keep himself silent and away. Nut's hoping he draws them deep into Con. Both players with kits though. Incendiary sent. Tapped once, TMB not running forward. Diffuse tap the second time, Nut gets the one kill. Turo can burn him, hold the 5 seconds. TMB needs to swing right now. Footsteps heard, and he goes down, but has he stalled for enough time? I don't think he has. No, he has. VP will concede there first.
Well done there from TMB. Something that we've seen Ecstatic do a good job at in their opening matchup against Z10. In their second matchup against Fnatic is performing the clutches. Sort of the 2vx's, the 1vx's when you get down into the late rounds. And that was not an easy one. Didn't have much to work with, but they outplay them completely, play the time off of the clock. VP Prodigy lose their first, but it would be a hell of a statement if they can respond straight away. And you'd have to say it was probably Bist on the rotation out from Ivy that just didn't quite have the timing here against Nut. This was the kill that changed the round.
Ecstatic with a bit of a steal out there. Opportunities opening up, but can they consistently win it with the rifles? Yes, they can with Sira's flick from that AK straight to the head of Aqua. Forever can take unlay. Sira's low. Nut needs to try and win with a much more confident kill, and indeed he does. Sira's not done though. Bist goes down. TMB picks up Triborg, and Ecstatic slow to arrive, but they have arrived here. 1v4 for Turo now. Dropping that bomb at least on TMB, but so many more players to find. Nut isolated and dealt with. 16 HP, Sira's on 3, but the AWP of Christo will not go falling.
Well, Ecstatic show that they can muscle those aggro moves. That was a little bit quicker out there to T-Con. They sort of wrap themselves in towards the back of the red train, out towards Sandwich, and Sira just starts cracking entries. So a tactical comes through from VP Prodigy. Now, I mentioned that Train was getting a lot of play rate in the Open Qualifier, and also said that in the European Pro League group stage, it was getting played in every best of 3. And they were able to beat Prestige, the Danes, 13-3. They were able to beat the Germans of Experian NXT 13-7. The only loss they had was against Whopper, and that was a very close and contested 11-13 against Xanto and Tham-like. So if you consider the last couple of weeks of competition, we're looking at 6 train officials being played, 5 of them wins, and the 1 loss, very competitive. So, at least from that outset, looks quite positive from VP Prodigy.
That doesn't. Turo having some connection issues, evidently. So away from to get back in server, although forced by situations for VP Prodigy also does not look good for their own perspective here. This is Ecstatic really going to get their chance to build into this game. It was a rough start as it was over on Ancient, if you'll recall. Again, VP got that early. Ecstatic had to fight back for a 6-6 half. Slow starts from TMB, again, 1-6 in terms of his numbers right now. He was 0-5 at one point on that Ancient as well.
Yeah, but come on, without his clutch, they don't win that first round. I mean, he might be 1-6, but he is the very difference maker to how Ecstatic went from 4-0 to 4-2.
It's very true. Just wonder if that impact could be applied more liberally here. There could be more behind the Ecstatic side. At least they are involved now. And on paper, they should get to number 3. Haven't seen the investment from Triborg, Turo, for $3,600. I don't know if that's because of the disconnect shenanigans or what's going on there, but
Well, we haven't seen any aggression in Pop or Brown Halls from the CT line, something that Fnatic did a really strong element of when they came into train yesterday against Ecstatics. They were just pushing everywhere, weren't they? They were getting up B ramp, they were getting up Pop, they were sort of taking showers, making it really awkward for TMB on the defaults. VP Prodigy have had what I would say is a pretty stagnant CT side. Haven't seen much activity towards that area. So this might be the round, now that you have a limited investment, now that you don't have a huge amount of money to work with, where you get a little bit gimmicky. We saw a few of those rounds out on Ancient. I'd like to see some Pop aggression or just a bit of movement towards the Brown Halls from them.
We've got 2 from Arses. And Turo is going to be the man that plays out that ramp entrance forever in towards Pop Dog. Initially contact against Unlay, been tagged to 67 though. First crawls on the 5-7. Molly sent deep, 2 players seen. Unlay gets both of them. Try to get that aggression going, but not with the weaponry. Incorrect. And that Brown Halls player also falls out of the way. Turo backed up to the connector position over on the B-bomb site. Also lost Bist out of T-Con. Extension from Ivy from Triborg would have been a good idea, but with a 2-on-5, I think it's pretty meaningless now.
Well, Problem is going to be very frustrated at that round because fundamentally that was awful from VP Prodigy. The intent is to go aggressive into Pop. They've taken a bit of damage from the anti-rush util. They then get themselves close towards the stairs, and they puts one molly forward. And what happens, Jay? One player goes forward, the other player goes back. That's hesitation. That's players not being on the same page. You either fall back together or you both fight aggressively. You can't afford to make those mistakes, especially against a top-end Tier 2 team like Ecstatic.
And Toro will try and make it expensive, but only 1 pick is found at the end of that round. A triple for Syrup. And you are right. That was so exploitable by the Ecstatic side. See it again, just how separated they were, couldn't combine. Very little damage done to that individual as a result. And VP, that was a forced buy, so all they can do is buy a Deagle and Toro and hope that he can find a pick or 2. Because there should be Ecstatic winning the board here.
Even though there's not going to be much in terms of on-the-line pressure to win this grand final for Ecstatic, with the amount of best of 3s that they've won recently, you got to think you're playing Liquid in a couple of days. You've got to have confidence high for that series. I know that Liquid looked quite poor recently. I would even say Ecstatic, for me, are going to be the favourites going into that series. It's an online best of 3 when Liquid can't beat anyone in Tier 2. I think Ecstatic are the better team. However, when you've won 19 out of your past 23 best of 3s on HLTV, you don't want to be losing to VP Prodigy just before a key matchup.
Yeah, it's true. Unfortunately for them here on Train, they're not showing the kind of game that we saw from them on Fnatic when they faced Fnatic on this map. Had to fight tooth and nail for 14 rounds. This time, got them on the trot. Economy's well built. Forever burning the 4 points of health. Sirius Molly extending much further than he was anticipating, so that's an easy and free opening for Ecstatic.
And now you just start thinking about that 5th round. You're up 4-0, it's a 2v2, you don't win the retake. Is there a struggle? Is it now completely changed? Is Ecstatic not only the favourites, but going to start pummeling in these T rounds? Opening man advantage gets lost, carelessly aggressive towards T-Con. Nasira watching out there towards Olaf, and it's turning into a gamble stack. Now, we have not seen a single B hit. The only time that B was taken was, what, on the pistol round when they took Con and the bomb went down from Christo when he's just trying to get a cash injection. Outside of that, it's just been A after A.
Maybe there might be an avenue in which VP could adjust TMB's caught Toro in the meantime. There was one trade against Syrah. Triborg goes undetected up at Heaven, sneaks in a kill in the Brown Halls, so it's into a 3-on-3, and Ecstatic trying to act out a Pop Dog. Unbeknownst to VP Prodigy, no one's watching the open bomb side of the AWPer. Going to try and cut some angles, but Tilly coming in his direction. Aqua completely whiffs his spray against Unlay. Both Bist and Triborg group up, move towards CT, rotate back towards the back corridors. But what can they do from here? Anna's going to challenge directly AKBM4, and AK wins the fight. Bist a 1-on-3 with no util, no kit. An AWP in hand, the lesser weapon for a retake at least. Trying to lean up, trying to find something, hearing Unlay, but head maybe turned away from the man. Shot missed, second chance, not taken, dives out of the way and goes down to not on the pre-fire. Ecstatic, 5 in a row. And 5-4 in the lead.
Something we certainly have noticed from CIS AWPers over the last few years is how many young rookies have kind of come out and exploded in their first real professional stint. You look at someone like Grix, with what he was able to do very early on. Deco, I mean, he didn't even really play professionally before going out on one win, and then we've seen it most recently with Molodoy. It just feels like a region, a scene that are getting these young 16, 17-year-olds and getting them involved in good systems with either an experienced in-game leader or an experienced coach and just trying to hold on to them for as long as possible. He's had an excellent tournament. Great map number 1. Even though it's been quiet here on map 3, there's still time. Plenty of gun rounds to continue moving into that second half. It's just how quickly can you slow down Ecstatic, because I would say for the most part, there's been an average series from them. Didn't really perform on map 1. It was an okay first half. The second half was poor. You go into Ancient, you got tested, but second half was a lot stronger. And now all of a sudden you come into Train and it's been 5 rounds in a row in which you haven't really had too many chances.
Static will lead the charge. Irrespective of the circumstances, there have been many ecos over the VP Prodigy attempts. Max loss bonus will be in effect, but you can already see where the money line won't line up to a true investment right here. Talk about the rifle rounds in the future, but it's also equally possible that Ecstatic could abuse this economy state even more so to go 8-4 at the turn. Soon we get the half buy here, that means 6-4. Rifle, loss, eco, that's the pathway. That's what Ecstatic will be gunning for. You can imagine that I'll have the resources to do that as well. Plenty of cash in bank, nut on $10,000 post-buy. TMB is yet to invest, although he will get dropped weapons, so try and even out that money line a little bit more so. Regardless, they've all got cash. And VP Prodigy, well, they don't.
It makes me wonder what sort of tournaments are up next for Ecstatic, because they're not playing in this Romanian land that's on at the end of the month. They're playing here, they're playing in Blast Bounty, but they just haven't accepted many tournament invites, if at all any, after the post-season player break. Seems as if the whole idea of being ready for Tier 1, focusing on that next level of competition rather than accepting a lot of Tier 2 invites is the way forward.
And I do wonder if that's why things have been looking as weird as they have done in this competition, and Ecstatic are most prepped for those Tier 1 teams, most ready for the teams that they'll face in Blast Bounty, a Liquid, for example.
Well, you certainly want to be doing your prep against Liquid rather than a VP Prodigy.
And their heads in the game, but not in this game, maybe. But they're still coming out on top. Suro, however, coming out on top with the 5-7 triple sequence. AWPers in trouble. Christo missing bullets. And the AK's picked up to a quadra. A hero moment out of VP Prodigy has turned this round back on his head. Nut. A 1v3. Bomb's going to get picked up. But where does he go with it?
Well, doesn't matter where you go, the round's just finished, isn't it? That's just full shock. I mean, you can't even imagine what's just happened there. You are just contacting upper, you get baited by the 5-7, and then he just starts beaming. He just starts hitting everybody, straight headshots. And that is a sick highlight. And we've had a few across this best of 3, but one player, close range against a full buy? Oh, come on, that was sick.
God, even the second kill was a straight drive-by. That's mental, man. Wow. Wow, oh wow. Well done, sir. That's brought VP Prodigy back in with a serious chance to now take the half of their own right.
They certainly hit hard.
7-5s available for both sides here. Aqua takes one of the AKs saved from the previous, applies it to Syrah, and opens things up for VP Prodigy. Is this a momentum shift here?
It could be. It feels like it, at least. Spam's coming through. Aqua Dual crossfire, but no one's peeking Ivy. No one's giving a chance to the AWP that scoped in.
Bist lands him. Aqua does go back to Christo though. Rebel sees those smokes coming to the cross of red. Static trying to form up to split their way into the A side. One man at Pop Dog, other two in T-Con.
The time is still here, but they're scaling. They're working around this sandwich smoke. Re-smoke down towards camera, Molly out towards Hell. Bist is not going to be able to help his bomb site player, and that's where Forever just tried to escape and try to get away from the bomb train out to camera, and they're all getting caught on timings now.
3 on 2, Christo with the latest. Bist down, Triborg will take that absence, that vacuum there over at Source Hell and try and move forward behind the red yellow train. Not watching for some sort of connector contact, but they're both going to come in from the back lines. Footsteps will be heard there with the jump face. Toro making moves, flash forward. M4 is going to get heard of the second player. Oh, not. That is criminal. Straight tap, Orpa Christo deals with Triborg, triple for him. And Ecstatic are back on track.
VP Prodigy are going to be frustrated at themselves because they've just let too much slip in that round. You've got a great opening kill there from Aqua towards T-Con against Syrah. The AWP is posted on the sideline. It's another frag. And then it's just a little bit of an overextension unnecessarily against Christo. They peek into the angle, completely unneeded. And then for Forever, I mean, he's just alone on the bomb site. Bist is not in a position to help him. There's no rotation out towards Con. And just second by second, the round starts disappearing.
And round by round, the half starts disappearing again for VP. AWP in play for this one, but no M4s, SMGs of Triborg trying to get ahead of the game. Bist does support him and find Christo, so that's the AWP picked up. TMB low HP as well. Syrah extending, sees players at E-Box, sees players at main, sees utility coming in from the back of the train, but he gets his kill on Aqua regardless, in the open, sees that player on the SMG. Toro provides that extra support, the AWP pressured, Not needs to get this kill alongside Unlay training, Unlay goes falling, Nut's close, running out of ammo. Toro now all alone, 1 versus 2, he finds Nut, but can't stabilize the spray. 6 HP, 4 on TMB. Bomb nowhere near the train either. Smoke to the left, giving TMB the escape route to get back out towards the B bomb site. Turo's going to sneak in, knows that Nut might be close. We'll see him. No, he won't. He registers at the last second. That's going to draw attention back as the bomb will go down to the B bomb site. God, this is such a difficult 2v1 to win.
And now Nut is just kind of giving it up the timing. All of that does is set up TMB for the NWP now.
Set ready. Trying to bait out. Jump face, stabilizes and connects it. Wonderfully, patiently played for TMB. Wins Ecstatic the half at 7-5. For the first time in this series, a team has won a half in the opening. 6-6 for Nuke, 6-6 for Ancient, 7-5 for Train, for Ecstatic's favour. And now they move to the CT side of things, where they could really pack on the pressure, really turn up the heat on VP Prodigy. We're moving quickly in the pistol round. Julie's set for Christo, trying to mow through the first player. Syrah instead, catching one headshot. Teammate at TMB, back at Z Connector, going to do so much getting Triborg. Syrah goes down, and TMB got goosed in the interim. 3 on 3, yes, but HP advantage, and a bomb plant for VP Prodigy here. They're going to try and move. No, they're going for the kills instead. Unleash Julie's, gets one back, needs to get 2 more. They're vertically set. The bomb plant still going to distract one, and he almost gets the third, but distracted still. Turo holds his triple and keeps VP Prodigy in with a pistol win.
It's been so funny and entertaining to watch how both of these teams have disrupted T-side pistols. Ecstatic have tended to be quite slow. They've been running clocks, they've been using util, whereas the VP Prodigy, you look at all three maps of this series, T-side pistol, it is pack and group. Remember what they did on Ancient, right? They just ran into Red Room, got there towards CT, ended up going B. You look at what they're doing there in the Brown Halls, they're just forcing duels.
And that won't change for the follow-up force by SMGs extended to Brown Halls and Pop Dog. Also with that pistol step back line, TMB taking some molly damage. But attention of VP turns away from that position. Bist and Aqua looking down Ivy, one for Master Meekdom. But a 5-7 on the open. The A-bomb side directive. Flash forward, Arnlay's blind, dead in an instant to Aqua. Christo can smoke the T-con area, needs to get on top of Yellow if he wants a chance, and Aqua can deal with him regardless. SMG close on Syrah, only one pick found, Aqua with a triple. The round is over.
Brilliant flashbang. That was lovely to see. Arnlay has no time whatsoever to turn away from that one. He is caught completely flashed. Ecstatic may have had a lot of movement out there towards Pop. TMB getting into the Brown Halls, but in terms of the A defense, it crumbled. VP Prodigy make it 7-7. And Ecstatic will hold on to a little bit. But this could be the shift right now with a bit of a round streak for the underdogs.
No, that's going to make it as expensive as you can do. 3 players worth of casualties at the tail end of that round. Oh, Aqua, another. That's the second time that's happened over this series. Oh, that's going to limit their funds.
I'd love to see Ecstatic Force by now. I mean,
Yeah,
imagine that, right? You go in and you see that there's been a TK, you see that one player is the only one alive. TMB might be an aggressive caller in terms of the buy states, but even that's maybe a risk that he thinks is not quite worth it.
And I saw some upgrade pistols, so it's not impossible that they can put some damage out on this round. Oh dear, Aqua. Even one kill in this context is going to limit the economy state of VP. Let's have a look-see. See what Ecstatic can do with what little they have.
Ecstatic are just packing and grouping towards Pop. They might be able to deal with this Mac 10 at least.
Plenty of money game with the Mac 10s, in fact, so nothing is the answer to my initial question. Nice try, not to work in the slightest. A lot of that money that was lost by the T-side line is going to be recovered by the SMGs. They can play the bonus weapons for the next one as well.
Makes me think, though, Jay, if VP Prodigy can achieve this, right, if they can give a fight against high-end Tier 1 squads, up against high-end Tier 2 squads, could they be 3 months, 6 months down the line doing what Na'Vi Jr. did, where they just sell the roster to some other organization, and then we actually get to see them a little bit more? I mean, of course, you're not expecting it now, because they're not even VRS ranked as of this match, but that's got to be the thought process with a lot of these orgs now, with how successful the Academy projects have been over the last couple of years.
I mean, look, I wouldn't put it past them. Although this is only a first impression in my eyes, we're only seeing them at this level for the first time, and Ecstatic are still finding loopholes. They're still finding ways into these rounds. 2 kills on Forever and Aqua, and virtually no response from VP Prodigy. Bomb was seen there in T-con. Got to get out of there. These 2 men as well. Smokes down towards the ramp. Timing's off for Not. He will go forward towards Triborg. Way into that B bomb side. Bomb plant won't be secured just yet, but it won't be long.
Syrah's expecting some aggression to come towards him at Connector. That Mac 10's going to put down some util. Syrah not going to get driven through. He's going to wait for his teammates out in spawn to clear out this majority of the area.
And they're still at the man advantage. Working the back lines Mac 10 going to extend. Sira's going to get caught by another rifle to work with. Unlay, undetected. Now TMB can move as Bist gets his kill. Be distracted towards this heaven position. Where's that bomb planted for? Open at the left side of the train. Tribal can get Unlay next. Look down range. TMB is not seen towards the bomb. He's not going to kit either. And VP Prodigy will just about fend off Ecstatic there.
VP Prodigy had themselves a difficult post plant, and they were down in a 3v4, but they handle it nicely. Turo, the man that put up, what, that massive 4K with the 5-7 on the B bomb site in the first half. He's 20 and 9 and got that one key jewel, that one key entity. And he's slowly starting to run out of rounds here. It's only a few more until this job is done, and VP Prodigy will feel that with the economy where it sits from the opposition, we've got a free chance of getting double digits, and we can taste victory. We can see the vision.
1xBet have shifted back in VP's direction again.
I mean, to be nearly 3-1 for a top 30 team in a third map decider in a grand final is mental.
This goes to show how unpredictable this VP Prodigy side have been in their series and how unpredictable these series have been. M4 save for TMB. Upgrades bought around it. Few pistols, one UMP. Smokes from Akka will try and block access. They're just going to push forward here on the CT side. Flashes won't make a difference. Molotov might do. Send them forward and into a 1-for-1.
A very fast acceleration into B once they realise what's happening elsewhere.
Not can't make his connection. Near the left side of that box, the Orpa meanwhile, ready for Sira to rotate in from Pop Dog. M4 of Turo moves up, Not is caught. At this point, you might want to save onto that AK, although it goes down quickly, so now TMB will look for the exits. Because the round is over. VP will get to number 10. We're starting to get to the dying stages of the grand finals now. 3 more rounds for the Academy side to take the win. 3 rounds for Ecstatic just to catch up. TMB. Gonna try and get another exit out of this. No one's seen. Can just keep the gun.
Terrorists win.
Have to settle with that much. VP, however, on the upward trajectory, on the pathway to the W. Ecstatic will have a rifle by here in this round. The last one was just a half invest. But this is the most important one of the Danes campaign because a loss here would put VP on map, match, and tournament points.
VP Prodigy know that at the moment, the pace is working well for the opening man advantages. Anti-rush util heavy, Forever's trying to get out towards Olaf.
Not spotted there, but CMB can adjust the HP advantage. AW utility, not caused damage on the ramp take. I believe there was the Brown Halls. Not like it matters because Akka and Triborg are going to find the kills on Sira and TMB. Exposed in the open. Oh, Unlay, edge of the smoke was just spotted. He didn't quite register try. Backlines for Not. He still caught that kill. 3-on-3 now. And Aqua not realizing that he's exposed in the jump up. Not with a secondary pick at low HP. Toro seeing the flashbang face. Another flash to come forward. Incendio instead towards the back of Red. Doesn't quite connect. Orp on Not brings it into a 2v2. Smoke forced to get used by Unlay. Now Christo is here with the Orp on scene. Unlay's going to get away. And so does VP Prodigy.
Well, pressure's getting towards the Academy squad. That was the freest kill of all time against Nut. He is trapped out there from the back of the bomb train. It's high HP versus red HP, and for whatever reason, they just can't kill him. And then they can't even trade him either. In towards B. Now, this is where Toro should go down on the bomb site, and Biss should hold heaven. He should hold for the connector rotation.
Wary of Brown Halls, though. Pop Dog is an option for Ecstatic, although only in theory, only to VP Prodigy's knowledge, the IV control player going to come back, and Zed will now look to be taken. They'll look on towards this B bomb site. No kits, but there are smokes. Gotta find the bomb. Put it down quick. Might just go for the whole ninja stick. Orp protects Christo with the kill on the defuse. The M4 gets his pick back, but Christo quick to return and has enough for Ecstatic to stay in this match.
Christo has delivered some excellent late round kills across this entire best of three. Some moments that we saw out on Ancient of what he was able to do with that 1v1 when he has to turn around from default and look out there towards short. He has been my clutch player for Ecstatic. Easily the best performer when it comes to the 1vx's. And VP Prodigy, that should have been a done deal. And they'll be kicking themselves. All they needed to do was drop Nut. Should have never have been able to stay alive for as long as he did.
What a shot that was. And you're right, Christo only 9 frags deep, but what impact he's generated with those frags. Bist and TMB early tags against them. Nut has no idea how close he was to seeing a player in a pop. Also ran the risk of being caught by Triborg. Christo lands on Turo in the end. Advantage taken with that Brownells pick. Great timing on the smoke for Unlay as well.
It's just making it uncomfortable for the T-side line. You've got a player in Pop Dog that's now regrouping to T-Con. You smoked off Ivy, you're regrouping. You don't have a huge amount of map presence now towards that B area. And it all started when TMB got hit down towards 18. They knew that they needed to make a play somewhere, and they had a bit of a gimmick out there on the Brown Halls ramp. The AWP posted, the Rifler on the right-hand side. And for VP Prodigy, I am looking at someone like Aqua to get them through. He's been pretty good on this T side and creating openings. They need quite a bit here.
He's the top fragger of VP Prodigy, of the players that are alive right now. Syrah takes something like the flashbang, counter flash in from the CT side. He just gets Aqua. HE sent, that should catch one forever indeed. It's Unlay and Christo instead. They line up those picks on the M4s. Bist, 15 seconds, knows he's lost a bomb, knows he's lost a round. VP shut down from the word go in this one. And it's number 9 for Ecstatic. Leaning in to try and get the hunt together. Might get some AKs out of it. 2 in Syrah and TMB's hands. That'll be as far as it goes. The AWP staying for VP gives them options. Tactical called in to discuss said options.
And you just start wondering now, is it the pressure of 10-7 up for an Academy squad coming back to hurt them? I mean, I'm convinced that this is the best underdog run that we have seen in CS2. I'll put my name on the record there. We're talking about an unranked squad who Toro, Triborg and Aqua had 12 HLTV maps coming into this tournament, and they've been able to beat Liquid, beat Foot, and challenge Ecstatic to this journey. No team's come close to that. That you might say there's an asterisk, right? That's an online tournament. It's not LAN. Yeah, whatever. Oh, Ecstatic have already qualified because VP Prodigy are there with the main squad. I don't take that. I'm not accepting those excuses and those examples. This has been such an incredible run for such a young and inexperienced squad.
But will it end in victory or defeat? That is a question that we have yet to answer. Can we answer it here today? Can they answer it here in the next 3 rounds? Is what they need on VP to close this one down. Smoke sent from both sides, deeper into T-Con, Basira to block off the entryway that has allowed the breathing room over the T-side. Flash forward, turns on one. Second player right there, flash forward, doesn't affect Syrah entirely. Unlay meanwhile's got the back lines held. Pop Dog cut down. Toro tagged to 42. Bist, his AWP useless at this stage. A 5-on-2. Ecstatic have sprung into life, and they will give no glory to VP if they can help it.
And you do start reflecting on previous rounds. It's always in retrospect, isn't it? But 10-7, That round where Nut is out there to the back of the bomb train on 9 points of health. How easy the first kill should have been. How easy the one-for-one trade should have been. You trade that player, you get the bomb down, round's pretty much over. We're looking at a 12-7 score. Now, I think when you get up to series point at 12-7, Jay, you've got enough rounds there to work with, don't you? You've got enough time to close. Now that it's 10-10, I don't think you do at all.
Biss giving away his position there with that. Don't peek. Don't peek. Oh, he's gone down after time. $250. It just gets worse for the Academy team. There is no money to buy for Biss. Lacking in funds in general for VP Prodigy, but that orb, God, it could have been so much more valuable.
Well, where do you go? And that's the problem that Bist finds himself. Do you stay in the brown halls and get wrapped from Pop Dog, or do you go out on B and get wrapped from the bomb site? No matter where you went, you were going to fall. You just had to hope that you could fight your way out of trouble.
Half-bought pistols on VP. Stand to attention. Counter utils there. Nut sees him coming. Bomb plant bonus could well be an option to them at this stage. Nut makes it a triple though. Bomb plant is secured. Tech 9 pulled out. Nut makes it a quadra. So all five maintain their lives, and a little bit of bonus cash to recover for Bist especially. Very important. They will be up to another buy, but Ecstatic now are in the lead, bearing down on the win. 2 rounds for the Danes.
The most difficult aspect of any inexperienced squad playing at a tier 2 or tier 3 level, Jay, is closing. You can get up to some really good score lines, you can convert clutches, you can have early gun rounds, but closing, you have to take experience from an in-game leader to call your way through a tough game. And right here, it's the lack of depth that's really hurting them in these last few gun rounds.
Bist down in an instant. Headshot gain on the edge of the smoke. You barely see Unlay kicking things off and turning his attention towards Ivy, where he's been successful in his utility defensive. The AWP doesn't quite land his leg shot. Meanwhile, over the brown walls and round entrance, we'll see players coming up. They're going to try and rush him down with pace, and they do that successfully, but Nut takes Turo out from the extremities. Bomb was not with that 2-man unit. It's on the way in now, though. It starts to back away as Sirius does take Pop Dog, and Nut has re-secured the B-bomb site.
Yeah, this is 6 kills in 2 rounds now for Nut as the B-side anchor. And Sierra knows that they have not gone brown halls to pop. So the only way that they could be is still brown halls targeting B or large wrap through showers out towards T-Con. They're certainly not going to go Ivy with how much time's left on the clock.
Pack and walk. Plant the bomb. And go from there. Extend out towards main. Unlay set the trap and he springs it. Aqua drops forever or never. That is what's at stake for VP now. Check the sidelines of the train. Plant for the back. That bomb plant will be heard. Zero will start to make his moves. Swing forwards. Check. See a shoulder. See if some flashbangs coming his way. Get blinded by them. Gonna isolate these fights. And he peeks into the crossfire. And it's 12. Ecstatic on map, match, and tournament point here in the RES Showdown. 2 chances to close.
And just imagine how limited the confidence must be for someone like Forever. Map 2 of Ancient that came close to being won, he went 4 and 15. You're now going out on the decider and you're 5 and 17. You're just generating nothing. Now, it does happen. Players can go for a very long time where they're not finding individual success, but when you're in a 1v3 clutch, bro, you've just got no confidence. You've got no ability where you've got self-belief that you're going to win it. And you might try and muscle everywhere else, but this player, this young individual, cannot get out of the slump.
3 AKs on the CT side. They've got firepower for days. Situation dire. Syrah strikes back. Unlay's dead first. Christo's orb steps up. Treble has fallen. Aqua returning fire. Trying to get another kill from beyond that smoke, but unable to do so. Have to back that bomb out of position because it's in danger. They will leave Churro. Almost got caught. Hugs the corner. Waits for further pressure as VP Prodigy try a different angle.
Ecstatic are just creating movement elsewhere. And TMB's been able to see that player out towards T-Con. Aqua and Blist. This is so tough. Such a difficult 2v3.
Tough for them, but for Ecstatic, it's closing time. Bist tagged up alongside Aqua at 60 HP. Now Aqua stands alone. You asked for some heroic moments. You asked for some individual impact. It's going to have to come now or never. He finds TMB first. Tagged to a third health. Watching. Connects it with Prejudice and Great Fury. It's a 13-10, a 2-1 series that solidifies it. Technicality officially. Ecstatic will be moving on to Blast Open London, and they will be champions of the RES Showdown.
Well, for Ecstatic, it's the result that they've come for. They've certainly been tested in the majority of the series against Zero Tenacity and against Fnatic, and out here against VP Prodigy, maybe to an extent that we weren't expecting. But for the Danes, the goal is the expectation of qualifying to a Tier 1 tournament, and that's what's been achieved.
Indeed, and that really is what it's all about in the short term. In the long term, they will not lose out the VRS points that they would have been set to lose out on if the VP Prodigy side had beaten them here today. So that's also a bonus cherry on top. But for Ecstatic, there are bigger things in their future. We've talked about it, them being now a top-end Tier 2 team, them doing great work in the Tier 2 atmosphere. A chance now for them to prove it. 2 chances, in fact, to prove it on a much bigger stage with both Blast Bounty and Blast Open, right? They're going to take on some Tier 1 teams. They're going to get the chance to stress test themselves against the higher levels of competition. And I think right now that's what Ecstatic need the most, because you can sit down in Tier 2 and you can stagnate or you can progress. And that's what they've been doing throughout the last 7 months.
It's been a very impressive 2025. To play 6 grand finals and win 5 of them with your only loss still going to 3 maps against a very strong Na'Vi Junior roster, it shows that this team is very consistent. They're not getting upset out of tournaments. They're not losing to teams that they shouldn't lose to. It's now 20 wins out of the past 24 best of 3s on HLTV, in which all of their losses outside of a single game that they lost to 9 has been against top-end Tier 2 teams. And then even in that very same tournament, they rematched 9 and smashed them the second time. So for Ecstatic, it's been a very good last few months. It's been a very good last 2025.
Indeed, and they will move on to make it an even better end to 2025 if the way things are lining up for their own position. On the other side of the board, though, hats off to VP Prodigy. Even though it did look dire towards the end, even though they were getting outplayed and outfragged, what a run overall. Even towards the start of the series, we were saying, man, 13-6 on Nuke. Ecstatic are going to have a hell of a task right here. So even up until the very last second, they were giving us a show, and they were showing that there is some quality right here. These guys, they are sharp individuals, and I want to see how they develop, because I didn't expect anything coming out of this competition from them, and they've done so much more.
Well, they should have won this best of 3. Again, I've mentioned it, that 10-7 round. They should have traded Nut. That should have been 12-7. I think they were the better team in this best of 3. I think, unfortunately for them, they didn't quite take the moment when it arose. And then from there, they just choked. They just couldn't handle the pressure. Rounds were getting slaughtered from that point onwards. So I don't think the future really matters too much on whether this is a one-off, whether this is a fluke. This tournament run has been exceptional, and it has been pushing every belief out of the expectation. They should have never have been able to beat Liquid. They should have had 0 chance against Foot. They shouldn't have had much of a chance versus Ecstatic, and yet they should have won all 3 of these best of 3s. It's been an excellent run from them.
Yeah, look, if I'm any of the VP Prodigy players, I'm going back to the VOD on this match. I'm pausing at that bracket screen, taking a screenshot and just framing it above my PC so I can remind myself exactly why we do this, right? Exactly why I'm playing. And for them, look, it's a hell of a run, right? That's all you can say for their credit. No one expected anything. They did something. And now, 5 matches, they are ranked. Obviously, won't be as high as what they would have gained if they had gained the Ecstatic series. But I think beating Liquid and Foot on the way, that's going to put them in a decent contention to get some invites going forward.
I mean, even the best of 1, they beat Foot there as well. I know that it's in the open qualifier, but you've beaten Foot twice and you've beaten Liquid. It's going to help them out quite a lot. And I think with how they've been hard stuck in ESEA main, with how they're really struggling in all of the unranked tournaments, it will be nice to finally see them in ranked events, to actually see whether they can use this as a bit of a catapult to getting higher up the tiers.
It's a rare opportunity, Dwayne. We don't usually come into these grand finals and say that it's positivity from both sides, but I think in this case you can say. Ecstatic got the wins they were looking for. VP Prodigy put their names on the map, and we'll get to see them in the very near future, I am very, very sure. We'll see what their ranking looks like tomorrow when the ranking update happens. But for us here in RES, That's it. We've done our part. We've done our qualifier. Blast Open London. The stage is almost set, Dwayne, and I have to say that the lineups are looking rather stacked at the moment.
Indeed they are. I'm sure Cypher will be really disappointed about the chance with Fnatic of getting into a grand final and getting your way forward, but that's how it goes with all of these Tier 2 teams. There's been some failures. I think OG wouldn't have been happy with how early they went out. Liquid certainly wouldn't have been happy with being first rounded by VP Prodigy, but these qualifiers, they're cutthroat, and in the end, Ecstatic were probably the better team out of everyone in the bracket.
Indeed. So you look forward to seeing whether they can make their mark also during Blast Open London, kicking off on August 27th. So make sure you join Blast TV for all that action, as well as Blast Bounty, which kicks off in, I think, tomorrow or the day after or something. So many of Blast action to come from the wider circuit. But we've done our bit here at RES, so all we have to do now is bid you adieu. Dwight, any final thoughts from you before we close the show?
I want to see if Ecstatic can beat Liquid. They're playing them in a couple of days in Bounty. It'll be a good test to see whether they can take down a Tier 1 squad.
Well, if VP Prodigy could, I think Ecstatic can as well. We'll find out very, very soon, but for the time being, that's it from us. On behalf of myself, the Eternal J, my co-commentator Dwayne, and all the production staff and admins behind the scenes here at Relog. I want to thank you so much for watching and for listening. We'll see you back here very soon for another RES Showdown, but until that point, it's good night and goodbye.
Out.